Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. With the arrival of President and Chairman of Council, we'd like this event to begin immediately. I'd like to urge us to please move forward. Um, if you are sitting somewhere and there is an empty seat in your front, please let's move to those empty seats. They are not reserved, they are actually for you. Please, let's move forward to the seats. Please, let's move forward so that we can have a good look for you all. Please, can we please move forward as we start? If you want us to start now, please let's move forward. I see from my left, the left roll, please, let's move forward. Let's move forward, please. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, looking better. Thank you. Thank you so much. As our custom is here at the Lagos Chamber, we like to begin our event as slated. This is just a few minutes after 11, and this event, as you can see on the order of program, is a long day. So we need to start very early and manage our time very well. Once again, I would like to welcome us to this all-important LCCI Stakeholders Forum on Port Efficiency. It promises to be a fulfilling day for all of us as we have our stakeholders here present this morning. But just before we go fully into the items on the order of program, we'd like to have the national anthem. It is an honor for our nation, Nigeria. So I'd like us to be upstanding as we take just the first stanza of our national anthem.
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians old and proud to serve our sovereign motherland.
Thank you. Please be seated. I'd like to urge our media team, our technical team, please let's do something about the audio. We can get better audio than what we have now. Thank you so much. All right, I'd like to quickly recognize the presence of some of our leaders. I have a very long list here, so pardon me. I'll be very fast. I have with us this morning the President and Chairman of Council, Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Gabriel Idahosa, FCA. Let's put that together for our President. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. We also have with us this morning a Vice President at the Chamber and also Chairman of Public Affairs and Advocacy Committee, SCCI, Sir Ladi Smith, FCA. Thank you so much. With us also this morning we have the Director General of the Chamber, Mrs. Chinyere Peace Almona, FCA. Let's put that together for Madam DG. Thank you, ma'am. Also from stakeholders, we have, I believe, representative of Mr. Bashir Adewale Adeni, MFR, Controller General of Customs. Is he around? All right. Mr. Sheyi Iwaye, General Manager, Corporate and Strategic Planning, Nigeria Port Authority. Thank you, sir. I met him. Thank you. I met him some minute ago, and he was putting me on hot seat. Thank you, Mr. Sheyi. Thank you. We also have Mr. Sheyi is representing Dr. Abubakar Dasoto, Managing Director and CEO. Thank you. We have Mrs. Margaret Ogbonan, Director of Regulatory Services. Let's put that together for Director. Thank you, ma. We have Dr. Eric Opara, Founder and Chief Executive Officer, Fortune Global Shipping and Logistics. Is he in? Let's put that together for him. Thank you, sir. Thank you. We have a list of some of our collaborative organizations that we give good messages. Please pardon me because of time. I will recognize them properly when it gets to their turn to make their goodwill messages. We have with us this morning also Engineer Frank Ike Onyebu is the past chair, Apapa branch of Manufacturing Association of Nigeria. He's representing the president of MAN. Let's put that together for him. Thank you. Thank you, sir. All right. So we move quickly to have the opening welcome address by the chairman of Public Affairs and Advocacy Committee here at the chamber, also a vice president at the chamber. Put your hands together for Sir Lcci Smith, FCA.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. You're welcome to this unique stakeholder engagement that we have this morning. As it is the tradition of the chamber, we want to start on time, and we hope that other guests and speakers yet to be here would join us along the way. So it's just a welcome address as I welcome you. Today, the 9th of April, so I welcome the Controller General of the Nigerian Customs, Mr. Bashir Adewale Adeni MFR. We know he's on his way. Our representative will be on the way soon. We also welcome today the Managing Director of the Nigerian Ports Authority, Mr. Abubakar Dantoso, ably represented by Mr. Sheyi Iyawe. We also welcome the Executive Secretary, CEO of the Nigerian Shippers Council, Dr. Akuta Pius Okeyima, MON, also ably represented by Mrs. Margaret Ogbonna. We also recognize the DG, Nigerian Agency for Food and Drug Administration, NAFDAC, Professor Mujisola Adeyeye, also ably represented by Mr. Ayokop and Ayokop. The DG, who is the Deputy Controller, E-Clearance, Port Inspection Directorate, NAFDAC in Yaba. We also recognize the DG of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety, NIMASA, also ably represented by Engineer Christopher Amakulo, Director of Shipping Development, and my President of the Nigerian Chamber of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Gabriel Idahosa, FCA. We also recognize in our midst today the DG, Dr. Chinyere Almona, FCA, and the chairman or the chairperson of the LCCI Maritime Group, Ms. Fumilayo Folorenshaw, and the chairman, LCCI Freight Forwarders Group, Mr. Laz Ali Shubande. All of you are welcome today. It is with great pleasure that I welcome you at this pivotal gathering focused on improving trade facilitation through port efficiency and cost effectiveness. As we convene at this crucial and critical juncture in Nigeria's economic trajectory, our collective endeavors to enhance our port operations is not merely an aspiration, but an imperative for national development. To contextualize our discourse, it is instructive to examine global benchmarks. According to the World Bank's Container Port Performance Index 2023, leading ports such as Yokohama in Japan and Algeciras in Spain have set commendable standards in operational efficiency, boasting average container dwell time of less than 24 hours. In stark contrast, some ports in developing economies report dwell times extending beyond 1 week, underscoring the pressing need for reforms. Turning our lenses inwards, Nigerian ports has historically grappled with challenges that impede optimal performance in these areas. Reports indicate that the average dwell time for cargo in Nigerian ports range between 14 to 21 days, a figure that starkly contrasts with global best practices. This protracted duration is often attributed to factors such as inadequate infrastructure, cumbersome customs procedures, and logistical constraints. In this context, enhancing port efficiency emerges as a strategic lever to mitigate economic strains. By streamlining port operations, we can reduce the cost of imports and exports, thereby alleviating some of the inflationary pressures and fostering a more conducive environment for trade and investment. In a nutshell, it's imperative to improve trade facilitations through port efficiency and port and cost effectiveness is both a challenge and an opportunity. As we deliberate on actionable strategies, let a shared commitment to excellence, innovation, and sustainable development guide us. The journey ahead demands collaborative efforts, unwavering resolve, and a visionary approach to transforming our ports into hubs of efficiency that propel Nigeria towards a prosperous future. We appreciate the presence of all the regulators and the several trade associations in the maritime sector that are present here today. Once again, I welcome you to this 2025 LCCI Stakeholder Forum on Port Efficiency. Thank you very much.
Please put your hands together for the chair. Very well. Thank you, sir, for the welcome address as presented. All right. We'll also have the opening remarks, as usual, from the President and Chairman of Council, Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Jam your hands together for my President, Mr. Gabriel Idahosa, FCA. Let's put hands together for the President, please.
The leadership of the regulatory agencies who have been individually recognized, Nigerian Customs, Nigerian Ports Authority, the Shippers Council, National Agency for Food and Drugs, NAFDAC, NIMASA, and some other agencies we are still expecting. The chairman, the vice president, and our host, Saladi Smith, for this event. The chairman of the Maritime Group, Mrs. Fumi Folonsher, our eminent sponsors, Prime Logistics, Prime Next Logistics, Fortune Global, Nigerian Customs. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor and a privilege to share this event with all the regulators and major players in the industry. As we navigate the complexities of the global economy, the efficiency of our ports emerges as a critical determinant of our nation's trade competitiveness and economic prosperity. In the context of Nigeria's economic landscape, it becomes imperative to look at our port operations, identify existing challenges, and chart a course towards transformative solutions. Ports serve as the lifeblood of international trade, acting as conduits through which goods flow seamlessly across borders. In fact, ports were one of the very, very few institutions that were left open during COVID. It demonstrated how critical the ports were to the world. Efficient port operations are synonymous with reduced transaction costs, expedited cargo handling, and enhanced global competitiveness. Conversely, inefficiencies manifest as bottlenecks, escalating costs, and diminished trade volumes, ultimately impeding economic growth. And we are witnesses to that in our country. Nigerian ports face a series of long-standing issues that significantly hinder their efficiency and economic contribution. One of the most pressing challenges is the persistent congestion and delays, particularly at our major ports, Apapa and Tinkan. These facilities are frequently overwhelmed, resulting in extended cargo dwell times and huge demurrage charges, which ultimately raise the cost of goods and undermine the competitiveness of Nigerian exports and imports. Administrative bottlenecks further compound these issues. These inefficiencies are estimated to cost the Nigerian business community about 2.5 trillion naira every year. Infrastructure deficits also play a critical role. Many port facilities are outdated, and there's glaring lack of integration with road, rail, and inland waterway systems. These connectivity issues limit the efficient movement of goods and contributes to delays and logistics costs that we currently experience. More importantly, security remains a major concern. The Gulf of Guinea has seen the threats from piracy and maritime crime and the associated dangers to vessels and rising insurance costs. This risks discourage international shipping lines and foreign investors from fully engaging with Nigerian ports. But clearly, it has improved so much beyond where they were some years ago that whatever complaints we have now are little compared to where we are coming from. To better understand how Nigeria can enhance port performance, it is helpful to look at international benchmarks. Singapore stands out with its highly advanced port of infrastructure and logistics systems, handling about 37.5 million 20-foot container equivalent units each year. The success of its national single-window system has been instrumental in expediting cargo clearance and minimizing delays. In the Netherlands, the Port of Rotterdam showcases the power of automation and digital transformation. The port has significantly improved operational speed and turnaround efficiency by incorporating autonomous cranes and vehicles. Similarly, Shanghai, China, home to the world's largest port by cargo volume, handles over 43 million TEUs annually. Its investment in deepwater port infrastructure and seamless logistics integration have positioned it as a global leader and in maritime trade and a model that we should aspire to. In recent times in Nigeria, key initiatives have been launched to tackle port inefficiencies. A major breakthrough came in April 2024 with implementation of the National Single Window, a digital platform aimed at consolidating trade processes, and we hope to hear a lot more about that during this event. This move is expected to reduce port-related business costs by at least 25%. More so, Nigeria secured a 600 million investment from global shipping giants AP Moller Maersk to upgrade port infrastructure. This development is set to improve capacity and accommodate larger vessels and thereby increasing efficiency. And the purpose of this event is to learn more about how these major investments and changes are unfolding. The opening of the 1.5 billion Lcci port is another milestone. Designed to handle 2.5 million TEUs annually, the port is expected to decongest all the older ports and position Nigeria as a dominant maritime hub in West Africa. And I do hope we will see how that is happening since the port has started operations for about a year now. Efforts are also being made to improve multimodal transport connectivity, linking ports more efficiently with roads, railways, and waterways to streamline cargo movement and lower logistics costs. To build on recent investments in the Nigerian ports, it is essential to prioritize the full digitization of port operations. Establishing integrated port community systems will streamline processes, reduce human intervention, and minimize corruption. Additionally, fostering public-private partnerships can help to attract much more needed investment and technical expertise for infrastructure upgrades, ensuring long-term sustainability, efficiency, and comparability with the best ports in the world. Equally important is the continuous training and capacity development of port personnel to effectively manage port technology, modern port technologies, and meet global standards. Enhancing maritime security through improved surveillance and law enforcement will safeguard shipping activities and boost investor confidence and the support of port users. Lastly, regulatory reforms that simplify and harmonize port-related policies are essential to improving transparency, reducing processing times, and creating a more competitive trade environment. Therefore, the journey towards enhanced trade facilitation through port efficiency and cost effectiveness is both a necessity and an opportunity for Nigeria. The initiatives undertaken by the current administration mark a commendable beginning, but sustained commitments and collaborative efforts are essential to realize the full potential of our ports as they are now and those being built. By embracing innovation, fostering partnerships, and implementing strategic reforms, Nigeria can position itself as a leading maritime nation that it deserves to be, driving economic growth and prosperity for all. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you, sir, Mr. President, for your welcome address. We're doing well with our time a bit, and I'm happy. We will do, we have enough time for question and answers, responses to some of the discussions that our keynote speakers will be having today. So let me use this opportunity to recognize a few of our good, some of our some supporting organizations that are here committed to this event here today. At the appropriate time, they will be having their goodwill messages. I know they have position papers. They have, some of them have slides they want to present. That won't be the opportunity for that, but just to give your goodwill messages when the time comes. I'd like to recognize the first on my list, not in any particular order, but just as I have on my list. We have Honorable Olumekun Olubumi, President, Barge Operator Association of Nigeria. Let's put hands together for him. Thank you, sir. We also have Mr. Sesson Onile Imo, President, Maritime Industry Advocacy Initiative, Maine. Is he in? All right. We have Otumba Shola Adewumi, National President, Nigerian Shippers Owners Association, NISA. Thank you, sir. Thank you. We also have Mr. Bolaji Sumonla, ably represented by Mrs. Jane Anishere SAN, Vice President, Nigerian Maritime Law Association. Thank you so much. We have Sir Emenike Kingsley Nwokeji. He is the National President, Association of Nigerian Licensed Custom Agents. Put your hands together for Mr. Nwokeji. Thank you, sir. I Chief, I like to be an I Chief. I Chief Toshuku Aziz. Is he in? He is the National Association of Government Approved Freight Forwarders. Let's put some together for iShield. Thank you, sir. Thank you for coming. Comrade Prince Adewale Adeyanju, President, Maritime Workers Unions of Nigeria. Is he in? Prince. All right. Last but not the least, we have Deputy Director E-Clearance, Port Inspection Directorate, representing Director General of NAFDAC. Anyok, please, pardon me with that. Is he in? Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. I'd like to recognize especially the presence of our own chairperson of the Maritime Group here at Lcci, even though the president had done that, but I need to also reiterate. Beautiful Madam Fumi Folorunsho. So let's put hands together for her. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. All right. While we are expecting the arrival of Mr. Bashir Adewale Adeni, EMFR, the Controller General of Customs, we have to move to what is next, which is the keynote speaker 2, improving cost-effective infrastructure for port efficiency. This is the core, one of the core subjects of why we are gathered here today. Put your hands together for Dr. Abubakar Dasonto, Managing Director, CEO, Nigerian Port Authority. Put your hands together for him. Let's clap for him so well, please. Yes, represented, I know. I don't want to mention that represented. Thank you. Just to say that before he makes his speech, I will need this in soft copy. I know. You can't hide it from me. Yeah, is there way? Okay, that's fine. I'll get it from them. Thank you.
Project? Okay.
No, it's not necessary. I just need it for my own consumption.
Okay. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I want to start on an existing protocol. My name is Lcci. I'm the General Manager, Corporate and Strategist Communication in Nigerian Port Authority, representing the Managing Director, who unfortunately could not be here. He sent his apologies. Yes. So I'll quickly read his address, then make some comments here. After observing all protocol, it is with great pleasure, he said, I stand before you on this auspicious occasion to make this presentation titled Improving Trade Facilitation Through Port Efficiency and Cost Effectiveness. The history of trade is as old as man, from time of local exchange to the era of globalization, where trade technology have connected the world and made them interdependent. The World Trade Organization, among several definitions of trade facilitation, is the simplification, modernization, and harmonization of export-import processes. It states further that regardless of the definition, its focus is on efficient and predictable processes, like what we have in this committee. It's common knowledge that a larger percentage of global trade in goods is carried by sea, hence the interest of Nigerian Port Authority in efficient port operation and cost reduction. There are a number of things involved in trade facilitation, but we'll just focus on efficiency and cost effectiveness, like Lcci just guide us through. There is correlation between efficiency and port operation and port cost. Port cost is dependent on the operation of the port. The more efficient the operation is, the lower the cost of port operation, and vice versa. Like we say in shipping, time is money. It is important to measure that the port is an ecosystem, a community of many stakeholders with different charges on cargo transiting the port. The charge by the authority for service rendered is just as we mentioned in here. So the question is, what are the enablers of port efficiency in port operations? One of them is infrastructure modernization. Modern ports, like our address did mention, contribute so much in port efficiency and reducing cost. And for MPA as a stakeholder here, we've taken the bold step in the port modernization using our Lagos Port and Tinkan Port Complex as a pilot. Nigerian Port has gone ahead to acquire some fund, which we're going to transform the ports in Lagos. It's a reality. Process of modernization, actual construction have actually started. We'll be informing the public as time goes on. Then we'll talk about automation itself. With adequate infrastructure in place, port operation could be automated to reduce dependencies on manual labor. It's been mentioned there. It was stated, taking some global ports on how and the effects of modernization, automation on their processes. This we acknowledge as in Port Authority. So what have we done? Internally, we've automated some of our processes, like our billing operations. We've automated that. Ship entry notice for those that are involved with this, they know that that has been automated. But beyond that, we also know that technology itself, which is also like linked to port modernization, plays a key role. And in this light, we can't, there's no gainsaying talking about having a functional port community system. Yeah, Nigerian Custom, we are aware they have an integrated system already in place. So for Nigerian Port Authority, effort is being made with collaboration with IMO presently to have a port community system, putting everybody together in the maritime space. Therein, we hope to achieve a lot of mileage for the authority and as well as for the community, because most times from our studies we realize that a lot of documentation are being shared along all stakeholders, and these are documentation that can be integrated. So with the study that we have done so far for the port modernization, port community system, those things have been flagged off, and hopefully soon it will be implemented. Talking about another enabler of efficient port services is port connectivity, internal connectivity. Like I said, port operation is hinged on the input-output model of the port itself as a transit point. With necessary infrastructure, the right equipment, accompanied by efficient evacuation to the hinterland, the operation would not be delayed to incur more costs. For Nigerian Port Authority, we've realized this instance, and There have been collaboration between Nigerian Port Authority and Nigerian Railway to ensure there's connectivity between the ports and outside, as well as also with even Nigerian internal NIWA, where there's collaboration going on presently so that there could be interconnectivity to the outside port. Recently, we note CCI, a private company, developed a terminal, inland terminal outside, moving cargo from Lagos to Ibadan, Abuja, then Ibadan to Abuja. These are some of the efforts already in place for interconnectivity. Of course, more is left to be done. We talked about safety. In Nigeria, as of today, thankfully with the work of NIMASA and all, and also Nigerian Port Authority, there's been a relatively big lower incident of security breach, and we operate on a level 1 ISPS code in the Nigerian port. So for security, more to be done, but there's instances of improvement in what we have done. Talking about balance of trade, another enabler of trade and efficient ports operation. One of the things we've done in that regard is the issue of having EPT zones, that's export processing terminals, so that we can do more on trade in export. Because the major cost that we have realized is most of our operation depends on import, and the cost of the shipping itself is now borne more on import. So what are the issues, or what can we do to promote export? So some of the things MPA has actually facilitated with other stakeholders is to have EPT zones for export, so that now in Lagos especially, there are facilities for export, and it has really improved services. Of course, Greenland initiatives have been there. But I also want to say, these are the, in Nigerian port also, presently we are working our processes, workflow processes. The idea behind it is to have efficient process that will be automated. Yes, talking about the port committee system, as good as it is, if the processes themselves and the pain points are not well articulated, there's a tendency to just put everything online, and it will now become garbage in, garbage out. So MPA itself has started having a process re-engineering of its activities, and we have engaged some operators, maybe some of them in this room, to understand the pain points and have a flow that when it's finally on the port committee system, it becomes easier, and that's ongoing. I also want to that is my MD's encouragement. I'm sure during the question and answer, others will be taken. But again, let's realize that the global standard that we are looking at, MPA is actively looking at that. In Lcci Port, for instance, part of the initiatives, the benchmark, global benchmark, Lcci Port is meeting them. The dwell time, the waiting time is being improved. And we also realize that some of our SCC, I see some of the data SCC provides, which is commendable. Even before I came here, I've looked at some of the data very well. I know that in Nigeria today, we classify our benchmark with all the products, all the cargo types. Like when the first speaker was saying, they said, is it Singapore or something, mentioned that the container dwell time is so place. So we are trying to come up with a situation whereby we can classify our metrics accordingly, container, project, dry box, so that we can reflect what it is. Because there have been a lot of investments, and these have not been adequately reflected, but hopefully we will reflect that. So in conclusion, the seaport is the gateway through which international trade enters a nation's economy. As a result of this, efficiency in operating our port is significant in order to reduce port costs. Efficiency and cost reduction will enhance our competitiveness within the Africa sub-region. However, the Nigerian Port Authority may not achieve this efficiency in isolation, as the port is an ecosystem of stakeholders, like what we are doing here, performing different functions. It requires a strong will and commitment of government, which thankfully we are having at this point in time. And as we currently witness our investment in infrastructure modernization and coordination of all agencies of government to achieve this. So this is my goodwill from Managing Director. Thank you so much for listening, and God bless all.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sheyi Uwaye. He was asking me to specifically say he's representing his boss, Dr. Abubakar. So I've said so, that Yahweh represents Dr. Abubakar. Thank you on this occasion. And I know by the time we come to the discussion part, you will fully represent him the more. Thank you, sir. We'd like to take the second keynote today, which is third on the list of the program with us. This is to be taken with a topic, improving regulation for port efficiency, to be taken by the Executive Secretary / CEO, Nigerian Shippers Council, Dr. Akuta Pius Ukeyima. Dr. Ukeyima is represented here today by Mrs. Margaret Ogbonna. Put your hands together for Mrs. Margaret, who is the Director of Regulatory Services at the Commission. Put your hands together for her, please. Thank you, ma'am.
Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I will stand on existing protocol respectfully laid down by the President and the MC so as not to breach the protocol. I welcome you all today to this auspicious day. And I'm here representing my Executive Secretary CEO of Nigerian Shippers Council, Akuta Pius Ukeyima, MON, Esquire, PhD, who is unavoidably absent this morning. He ought to have been back from Abuja, but other exigencies of duty made him not to return yesterday, and I was asked to make the presentation of his keynote address. So here I take the address as written. It says, good morning, distinguished stakeholders. It is an honor to address you today at the Lcci Stakeholders Forum, centered on the theme, improving trade facilitation through port efficiency and cost effectiveness. This theme is both timely and critical to Nigeria's ability to enhance its trade performance, economic competitiveness, and growth, particularly as we engage more deeply in the African continental free trade area. So this theme very apt for us to position ourselves to what we've signed into, that's the African continental free trade area, and being also one of the large economies in the continent, if not the largest. It's important that this theme is properly addressed today. The role of port efficiency in trade facilitation. At the core of effective trade facilitation is port efficiency. Port efficiency is defined by the speed, reliability, and cost with which goods are processed, stored, and evacuated through the ports. The port is an important gateway for every nation for trade. So the speed, the reliability, and the optimum cost used for the evacuation and the processing of goods through these ports is key to achieving port efficiency. It's not an isolated goal. It requires an integration of modern infrastructure, as some of the earlier speakers has mentioned. There is need for us as a nation, not laying blame on anybody now, but for us to consciously arise and decide to do that which must be done for us to reposition ourselves, to take back our position both in the continent and international trade globally. And such goal is not isolated to any particular person. It requires an integration of modern infrastructure. For the port system, one of such infrastructure is the need for us to have the single window, where all the players in the industry can streamline all processes and come together to fast track the processing of or streamlining the processes for exit of cargo from our ports. And there's also need to streamline the logistics involved in these processes, and one of such is ensuring our intermodal transport, integration of our intermodal transportation, the rail, the barge operation to be optimally utilized, not just partially, but those two modes of transportation are key for us to ensure efficiency of our port. The rail, they are making the right moves with the port authority to ensure that the rails go back to the port because they are very, very critical. And it has to be a regular service provision and not skeletal service provision. And those services must be transparent and it must be predictable. You know when it's coming and when it's going. And with a cost effectiveness attached to it. The same thing applies to barge operation, not relying heavily on evacuation of goods through the road mode, which we've done over the years that have affected our efficiency level in the port. So, and there must be a transparent regulatory environment. When all these elements work together, we significantly reduce the time and the cost associated with moving goods in and out of our national ports, which directly contributes to improved trade facilitation. Port efficiency goes beyond just moving cargo. It's about ensuring that every step in the supply chain operates smoothly, transparency, and predictably at a cost-effective rate. For Nigeria, improving port efficiency will not only reduce logistics costs, but will also enhance the competitiveness of Nigerian goods in both domestic and international market. The importance of cost effectiveness in port operation. Trade facilitation is also deeply tied to cost effectiveness. That a port is abandoned or preferred more than another port, basically, cost is a very intrinsic value not to take for granted. Because when other ports are more efficiency drives down cost, because efficiency comes with modern technology for port operations, and automatically it drives down the cost. And it attracts improved cargo delivery. That also attracts cargo from even the neighboring ports. And that's when a port can be considered as one of the hub ports in the region. So that for us is the position for Nigeria, which we must earnestly strive for and regain our position in the continent. In today's global market, costs are significant factors in determining trade volumes and business sustainability. Of course, we are all aware of what trade tariff is triggering across the whole world. United States trade tariff is affecting the economics of the world. So trade cost is very, very important in determining trade volumes and business sustainability. So Nigerian ports have sometimes are referred to as a high cost within the region. But talking to us as stakeholders, we know that when it's not the direct cost that is making our ports more expensive, it's actually because of the inefficiencies and delays, which also increase cost. Where you have delays and inefficiency, the aftermath of such things is increased cost. So these are the areas we tend to disagree that Nigerian cost, when you compare it, and studies have been carried out, the cost is not relatively the highest in the region. But what we encounter is irregularities, delays in processes, and unnecessary bureaucracies, and these things, and some unsolicited costs or services that come into our port system from everybody wants to be in the port to find a role to play. And all those things add up to the overall cost of doing business. So even when the cost you pay for the service you are taking from the system may be low, but it is not related to that alone. What impacts on a port also, all the activities around the port impact. The trucking activities, the other auxiliary services within that system impact on the overall cost of doing business in the port. And that is why most times they said that the Nigerian ports face some of the highest costs in the region. So with these elevated costs have a ripple effect on businesses, driving up the prices of goods and reducing our trade volumes. So it will reduce our trade volumes when our goods are diverted to neighboring ports and even smaller ports than the ports we have in the country, and diminishing Nigeria's competitiveness as a global trade hub. In contrast, cost-effective port operations help reduce the overall cost of trade and lower the barriers for businesses to access global markets. More efficient ports lead to faster turnaround times, lower operational costs, and more predictable services, which translates to better trade facilitation. This is why the Nigerian Shippers Council has focused much of its efforts ensuring that port charges are fair, transparent, and competitive. This is the move to ensure that the charges are fair, transparent, and competitive, and can be benchmarked with other ports of the region. But we need to improve on our service delivery, time for service delivery, turnaround time of vessel, trucks, and all the operational activities in our port. So that's what we're looking at. And everybody, all the stakeholders are playing a role or the other. In as much as most times we blame the government for this or that, we also as citizens, we are not as patriotic as we should be. Most times we find ourselves doing the things that will cause those delays. When we don't do proper documentation or we don't follow the proper regulations, we don't get those services freely out of the port as it ought to be. We should have our citizens also having their own levels of integrity and honesty in dealing with their businesses in the port, so that you can now say that I am not part of the delay. Because as it is, we all play one role or the other in causing the unnecessary delays. Because if we don't do what we ought to do, definitely there will be delays in the processing. Or when we decide to do the shortcut will end up cutting us short. We will spend more time or even double the time and double the cost in having that good released. Improving port efficiency to drive trade facilitation. We said that the Nigerian port has improved, but there is still room for improvement, because when we benchmark with the world, outcome, we still have room for more improvement that will affect trade facilitation. So while the country handles over 85% of its trade through the port, cargo dwell time in Nigerian ports remain high when compared to the world average dwell time. You heard from the president, said between 12 and 21 days. We have between 18 and 20 days. But the world is looking at in hours, 24 hours, or in days, 2 days, the cargo is out of the port. Even some of the continental ports are also working in days, 8 days, 7 days. So there is need for us to step up our level of efficiency, not looking back, and to ensure that those efficiencies, they are the direct things that will bring down the cost for our ports. So these inefficiencies result in longer lead times, higher costs, and an overall negative impact on trade flows. To address these efficiencies, the Nigerian Shippers Council is actively working on implementing measures to speed up cargo processing, reduce dwell time, and ensure that goods move swiftly through the port system. One such initiative is the development of a port pricing index. We are working on port pricing index. Well, we'll attempt, but very soon, it's not yet out, dynamic trade monitoring system, whereby all stakeholders at a glance can monitor the impact of whatever variables that impact on cost in the port can be read off and seen by every customer before you go to make your payment, so that it is transparently seen. It's not within the whims and caprices of individuals. So when that is out, the industry will know, but we are working relentlessly on it so that it will help to monitor fairness of tariffs, detect and prevent overcharging, and provide benchmarks for cost effectiveness and efficiency. Additionally, cargo evacuation remains a major challenge in Nigeria. So that is where the intermodal mode of evacuation must be leaned on as quickly as possible. All the obstructions and causes of delays in regular rail evacuation of cargo, which will save much number of trucks entering our port system, will be achieved. And the badges, the overwhelming reliance on road transport, particularly in Apapa, where over 5,000 trucks navigate daily, result in congestion, delays, and higher costs. To resolve this, the NSC is advocating for increased rail integration, development of inland dry port, and establishment of vehicle transit areas to reduce congestion and make cargo evacuation more efficient. The strategic importance of AFTA in facilitating trade. The African Continental Free Trade Area presents a tremendous opportunity for Nigeria to tap into a 3.4 trillion market and increase its intra-African trade. However, to take full advantage of this opportunity, Nigeria must improve its port efficiency and reduce the cost of trade. Inefficient ports and high costs act as trade barriers that limit Nigeria's potential to capitalize on the benefits of AFTA. As intra-African trade increases, the pressure on Nigerian ports will intensify. For instance, we now have the Niger cargo coming back to Nigeria. In the 1980s, the Niger cargo transit through our Nigerian ports. But when the cost started increasing, they relocated to Benin Republic. But because of the political issues between the countries now, I think Benin Republic have blocked them. They've sent a delegation to Nigeria for a reuse of our Nigerian ports, which the Nigerian Shippers Council is encouraging them, and they promise to bring Chad and Niger back to use the Nigerian ports. For Niger alone, they say they have over 6 million tons of cargo per annum, which passes through Benin. So it will increase this opportunity for us to intensify our infrastructural development to encourage the countries coming back to use our ports. So the role of regulation in improving trade facilitation, to achieve the vision of improved trade facilitation through port efficiency and port cost effectiveness, regulation must play a central role. Regulation must move beyond mere control and become a tool for trade facilitation, one that reduces barriers, increases transparency, and ensures fairness. The NSC has been at the forefront of this regulatory transformation, advocating for port economic regulation Regulation Bill to be enacted into law. This legislation will provide the legal foundation for streamlining port operations, institutionalizing our regulatory mandate, and ensuring that Nigerian ports operate with a focus on efficiency and cost effectiveness. Further, the implementation of a national single window will enable businesses to process documents and payments electronically, reducing paperwork, improving transparency, and speeding up the movement of goods. Streamlined inspections and enhanced interagency collaboration will also are also we are essential to ensuring trade flows smoothly without unnecessary delays or duplication of efforts. Collaboration of shared responsibility. Improving trade facilitation through port efficiency and effectiveness is a shared responsibility of all the stakeholders. Terminal operators must invest in modernizing their facilities. The Nigerian Ports Authority have set up timeline for modernizing the port infrastructures, but there are some superstructures that requires complete renovation, not just modernizing, and adopting innovative technologies to streamline their operations. Government agencies must harmonize their processes and collaborate more effectively instead of working in silos, and to reduce delays and increase predictability. Private businesses must comply with regulations, actively participate in feedback mechanism, and leverage technology to improve their supply chain management. The organized private sector must also invest in critical infrastructure and innovation to further drive port modernization and efficiency. We have been advocating for port digitalization, and we have analysis of some of our ports, the levels of port digitalization. Most of the terminals have gotten to high level, but they still complain that the users of the services want it hybrid. But the truth is either we are fully automated. Hybrid does not get us to the level we will be, because as long as we still allow for human intervention, human will play its role and truncate the effort of automation. So if we want to go automation, we all must be prepared to go full automation and not partial hybrid. It will not give us the desired result we are looking for. Together, we must foster an environment where every part of the supply chain contributes to a more efficient, predictable, transparent, and cost-effective system that drives trade facilitation. In conclusion, trade facilitation is a key enabler of economic growth, and improving port efficiency and cost effectiveness is central to achieving this goal. As we discuss ways to improve port regulation and performance, we must focus on reducing costs, speeding up cargo processing, and ensuring that our ports are ready to meet the growing demands of intra-African trade under the AFTA. The Nigerian Shippers Council remains committed to ensuring that our ports are efficient, cost-effective, and competitive. Our vision is to create a transparent, technology-driven port environment that facilitates trade, enhances Nigerian global trade standing, and promotes economic growth. Let us work together to build ports that are efficient, cost-effective, and ready to propel Nigeria to the forefront of international trade. Thank you for your attention, and I look forward to engaging discussions throughout today's forum. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Once again, please let's put hands together for Mrs. Margaret Ogbonna for a job well done. Thank you so much, ma'am. I believe at the Q&A sessions, there will be a lot of interactions to answer some of the questions in the mind of participants here today. All right, so we'll move to what is next, which is to have the presentation presentation on a private sector operator or operations. Dr. Eric Opara is a private sector operator, so he will be sharing with us from the inside of being an operator. So telling us particularly what and how what has been said here today is affecting the operation at the port. Put your hands together to welcome to the podium Dr. Eric Okwa, founder and chief executive of Fortune Global Shipping and Logistics. I need to just say that Dr. Eric, CEO and founder of Fortune Global Shipping and Logistics Limited, is a board member of the Nigerian American Chamber of Commerce, an associate member of the Institute of Director, IOD, and president of Eric Opera Foundation. Put your hands together. The list is heavy, but I just want to take that first paragraph. The man is loaded. Thank you so much, Doctor.
Standing on the and representing the CEO of Fortune Global. Thank you. I think we shared some slide for presentation. So who are we? Fortune Global Shipping and Logistics Limited is an indigenous Nigerian company founded in 2006. And over the years, we've had a track record of businesses we have done for various customers of ours. And as you can see from the slide, we're an ISO certified company. We are also Trace certified. We have more than over 60 dedicated employees, and we have partners all across the world. So if you are picking shipments from any country, just call on us. We'll be able to do what is called end-to-end logistics. We'll pick it up from anywhere all over the world and deliver to your doorsteps. So we worked for high-level customers, like you can see, the likes of Chevron, ExxonMobil, Total Energies, and so many multinationals, including indigenous companies. So Fortune Global, over time, we've cut our teeth in the industry, and we know how to work with other government agencies and sister companies in order to be able to facilitate the trade and deliver the shipments. Next slide, please. So on this discourse, we'll be looking at our continuous improvement process. We're also looking at our expertise in various shipments that we've handled over time and our experience in the ports. You know, we are talking about port efficiency and cost effectiveness. So we'll look at the experiences we've come over time on the ports and how this has been able to help in the sustainability of the business. Next, please. So for diverse shipment, over the time, we've done a lot of shipments in the country and out of the country. Fortune Global has branches all over the country. We have a branch in Port Harcourt, in Warri Port, and also outside the country. We are in Kenya, we are in US, we are in Ghana, and other hubs that you can pick up shipments. So we have the experiences on all kinds of shipment you can bring in, whether it is marine cargo, whether you are talking about bulk shipment, oil and gas shipments, breakbulk shipments, containerized shipments, any kind of shipment you are bringing into the country. NAFDAC-related shipments, all kind of agency-related shipments, we have the expertise and experience to handle that. Then for the end-to-end logistics, like I said initially, we do door-to-door services, so we can pick up shipments for you from any part of the world. All we just need is to have the address of your manufacturers. Once the shipment is manufactured or ready to be picked up, we'll pick it up through our partners because we have network partnership all over the country, all over the world, where we'll have more than 100 countries listed in that partnership. So if you're picking up a shipment from Turkey, we have partners in Turkey that will pick it up and send it down. In any part of the world you want to pick up shipments, we can do that for you. All we need is just the pickup address and the delivery address, and that is delivered. Then also we coordinate with various stakeholders in the industry to ensure that we have express delivery of shipments. We make sure that We have a collaboration with other stakeholders like the ports. As we go further, we'll be able to see this. We have understanding with the port managers of various ports across the country and other industry stakeholders to ensure that there are no issues during the process. Next slide. So how do we strive for excellence? Looking at the Nigerian environment, where we work, where we play, how do we strive for excellence? We always have continuous improvement process. Though we are ISO satisfied, but we ensure that each process we go through, each step we go through those steps to ensure that experiences are learned and improvements are met, so that in the further subsequent situations, we don't have such challenges. Of course, challenges are abound in the Nigerian economy, that is for sure. Especially we that play in the private sector, we know the challenges we go through government agencies, customs, Nigeria port authorities, and the likes of them. But we ensure that over time, the experiences we've put across the job over time pays off on the next one, so that we'll be able to maximize whatever we do to ensure adequate satisfaction on the jobs we handle. We have deep industry knowledge when it comes to the Nigerian terrain. Anything that has to do with the industry, whether it is oil and gas related shipments, or whether it's pharmaceuticals, whether it is break bulk of any types, agro-allied products, we have deep industry knowledge to handle that. Then the strategic solutions we have over time is to look at where a shipment is coming from and where it is going to. We look at the in-betweens, what will be needed at each point A to point B to where the shipment is going to be delivered. So we look at the indices along the way and to be able to profile strategic solutions so that once the shipment comes, there will be no issues. We are able to look at the trend, look at the process through which the shipment goes through from point A to point B to ensure that all issues are eliminated. Because the bottom line is for you to increase the awareness of the environment and to ensure that solutions are provided at each critical point in time. Next slide. Now, this is where we have to collaborate with government agencies like the ports in order to provide adequate services to ensure that we in the private sector meet up with our responsibility. If you don't have facilities to receive shipment at the port, it becomes a challenge. Sometimes a vessel will berth and there will be no space to discharge the cargoes. Before you know it, the vessel has to wait for some time. So it is very important that whenever a vessel berths, the port management swing into action to make sure that the vessel is not kept waiting, that the containers or the shipments are discharged, and then the vessel can go. Then all government agencies at the ports, they are encouraged to always do what they are supposed to do. Sometimes when a vessel berths, if you're expecting the government agencies to come, they won't be there on time and it keeps the vessel rolling. So at this point, the efficiency of the port management is key. Whenever shipments arrive at the port, the coming of the shipment and the going of the shipment out of the port is key, so that all stakeholders will be able to work as a time due to enable the shipment to be cleared on time. And also the enabling environment is key for each successful clearance operation. The customs, MPAs, and other government agencies at the ports has to lend a helping hand to the private sector so that we'll be able to do what we're supposed to do to get out the shipments on time and as when needed. So the efficiency of all government agencies in the port is paramount if you are going to have a successful operation at the ports. Next slide, please. So what are the challenges? Have we encountered challenges? Yes. But looking at these challenges, we see it as a growing process. We see it as a process where other processes can meet together and work effectively. Now, of course, you can identify, looking at this picture alone tells a million stories. You can identify the challenge, especially when you are moving truck into Apapa ports. It becomes a challenge. You see that the MPA has a system to call in trucks. The terminal operators have a system to accept those trucks. But at what point did they meet together? At what point can these two systems work together. So if you have gaps, you have inefficiencies. If trucks are ready to go into the port to pick up shipments and there are no access ways for them to go, it becomes a problem. So at this point, there has to be efficiencies between the processes of the government and the processes of the port management, so that at this point, we'll be able to have a smooth operations. So I know that MPA tried to solve this problem with other stakeholders by bringing in the ATO trucking call-up system. But ideally, it should be a system that works. But in reality, it doesn't give us, it should be. But we know it's a work in progress, that this can be handled better and more efficient results can come out of this. Maybe in the Q&A, we'll be able to throw more light on how this can work better so that shipments can leave the ports, especially at Papa Port, as at when due, not taking longer than it's supposed to be. Then there's a need for alignment between all the agencies to ensure that things work out the way it's supposed to be. Next slide. Sustainability in port operations. Apart from the Lcci ports and few other ports, you find sustainability is lacking in most of these operations. Like we said, vessel waiting time. What is the average vessel waiting time in Nigeria? When a vessel comes in to discharge cargo, how long does it wait before it is being attended to? These are the sustainability aspect of this operation. If vessels can be accepted on time, discharged on time, the turnaround time will be less than you know it, and they are off. And if a vehicle goes in to pick a container or pick a shipment, how long does it stay in the port before it is loaded? The port is supposed to be, like what the NPA man said, an ecosystem of in and out operations without taking much time. But we know the reality on ground today is not as it should be. But there is a room for improvement. There should be a collaboration. There should be a handshake between the private sectors and all agencies of government to ensure that whenever we have something like this, we'll be able to move forward and adequately. For example, talking about positioning of cargo for inspection, apart from Lcci Port that has taken a step further, the other situations remain the same. On the next slide, we'll see how Lcci Port has improved. They looked at what is on ground and they improved on it. Because looking at what is on ground is unsustainable. Looking at what is happening within Apapa Port is unsustainable. But the Lcci Port came on, learned from what is on ground, and they are improving on it. And we advise other ports to toe the line from Lcci Port. Though it's not functioning at full 100% capacity, but they've set out in the right direction. And if they can sustain, the process, they'll be able to be a learning curve for other ports to adopt. Next slide. For example, in APMT, sorry we are bringing up this, but in APMT, you find out that the 10-view platform is a success. For those that have worked in APMT and have used the software, it's a right direction software because you can literally do everything from your office without actually going to queue up to do things. All you need to do is log into that platform, generate your invoices and receipts, make your payments, get your clearances, and then you are good to go. But it does not really remove person-to-person interface. At a point, there must be a person-to-person interface. But it reduces it to the barest minimum. And that is what we want to see happen in other ports, whereby the platform will enable you to be able to work seamlessly without having to go there, spend time on traffic, without having to go there to do one or two things you can do. So APMT, kudos to them by generating this 10-view, and is really helping the industry. For we that are private participants, it helps a lot. Previously, before this 10-view platform was initiated, everybody here can testify that you can go there and spend almost the whole day achieving little or nothing. But with this, you'll be able to do one or two things and then move on for the next. But like we said, challenges abound with APMT also because of the ATO call-up system. The system does not really work the way it's supposed to work with APMT platform. Go on to the next slide. So you can see this is we here in Lcci ports. When the ports come on stream, we've had some strategic memorandum of association with Lcci ports to have express delivery, express attention in everything that concerns us. Now, what did they do different from others? What do they do? Lcci ports, they have a new system on ground that is different from others. The call-up system they've adopted is different from the one in Apapa. It's an internal call-up system, all right, where the trucks and the drivers are already pre-programmed into the system. Before the truck sets out, you must have been accepted to come. And that eliminates you parking on the road or eliminates you breaking down. You just go straight to the port. You pick the shipment and you are out. So it's a very, very good point that they have done, which other ports should emulate. Lcci ports also will allow you to do your inspections without making any payment. You can just drop your containers, your shipments, and you've done your inspection. Then by the time you are taking it out, you are expected to make your payment. So that helps the turnaround time to be very great. And they've also made it possible that you can hardly find congestion. Though, like I said, they are not operating at 100% capacity yet. But the way they have set out to work, if they can maintain this, it will go a long way to make sure other ports adopt what they have set on ground. And then they are good to go. The Nigerian environment is such that the businesses are there, the opportunities are there, but the process is what needs to be refined. If the process of business is refined, then we'll have no cause of sending our shipments to other neighboring countries like Benin Republic. Our process should be refined. It should be a work in progress. It should not be cast on stone. This is how we do it here. No. It should be a work in progress. The process should always be refined. It should have an internal check to see how good the process is. And then you can refine to what Lcci has at the moment, and which is working effectively. So far, so good. There are no vessels that have come and stay offshore, stay off waters without batten at Lcci. It doesn't happen. And Lcci is turning out to be a transshipment hub where containers going to other part of the West African sub-region is going to be transshipped because of the efficiency they have put in place. Next slide. So Fortune Global, who are we? We are Fortune Global. We are trade compliance. Okay? We have NIPES, TRACE, Nigerian Port Authority, Department of Petroleum, NIMASA, Customs. We're ISO satisfied. So all this, Fortune Global is registered with all this to ensure that whenever we are working, we work with our head high. Fortune Global is a company that you can trust to deliver. It's a company that you can call at any time and will definitely respond to you. Fortune Global is a company that have stand the test of time. We have seen it all. We have seen and we are doing bigger projects. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Fortune Global Shipping and Logistics Limited
Yeah.
is a global leader in international transport and logistics. Fortune Global Shipping and Logistics Limited is a global leader in international transport and logistics. With a mission to deliver seamless, high-quality shipping and logistics services to our clients.
At the time the company started 17 years ago, there were not many African logistics companies operating optimally with best practice. Fortune Global was founded to redefine logistics services that meet international needs.
With physical locations in Nigeria, USA, and Kenya, our global service network spans more than 100 countries.
Our headquarters, based in Nigeria, serve as a strategic control tower, overseeing and orchestrating logistics operations across the whole of Africa. From here, we can leverage upon our extensive network, physical location, local expertise, and advanced technology to support seamless business operation in countries like Angola, Niger, Mozambique, Gabon, Cameroon, Tanzania, Kenya, Djibouti, and Equatorial Guinea, to name but a few.
We are able to connect and support logistics operations in all African countries via our control tower in Nigeria.
There is no sector in the economy that Fortune Global do not play in.
We provide world-class services to a range of sectors, including oil and gas, projects, FMCGs, pharmaceuticals, agro, automobile, and many more.
The company have expanded a lot into oil and gas logistics. We have taken a great position in that sector. In the FMCG sector, we have been providing end-to-end solution for air freight, sea freight, warehousing, and also trucking services.
Other core services include customs clearance and documentation.
We take pride in our swift custom clearance process and rapid delivery timelines. Our in-depth understanding of the customs process and meticulous documentations allows us to navigate the complexities efficiently. We also provide advisory services to our clients. Documentation for us is key. We advise our customers and also ensure that every necessary regulations is met.
We also offer charters, project logistics services, consolidation, and warehouse services.
We offer end-to-end logistics solution by seamlessly integrating our consolidation and deconsolidation service. Our deconsolidation service involves breaking down consolidated shipments into various consignees. Our service helps to streamline the entire process, ensuring timely deliveries and reducing handling costs for all our clients. We carry out this task at our own state-of-the-art custom-bonded warehouse facility. Our warehouse and storage facility meets international standards and is designed with the utmost focus on security, accessibility, and flexibility. It is equipped with state-of-the-art material handling equipment, warehousing management system, inventory management, security management with 24/7 surveillance.
We have hubs in various parts of the world, including China, India, South Africa, the USA, and Belgium, supporting consolidation globally.
Transparency and accountability are woven into the fabric of our processes and all the things that we do within the organization.
Our greatest asset lies in our diversity, enriched by multiculturalism and gender equality.
Fortune people, like we call them, are the core of Fortune Global Shipping and Logistics. The people who help us to create service value for the numerous clients that we have across the globe. They bring with them their expertise, dedication to duty, and they bring with them innovation to the table.
Our commitment to provide tailor-made solutions sets us apart. Fortune Global approaches logistics with a strategic blend of innovation, adaptability. We are also client-centered.
Over the years, we have demonstrated
minute for each for your good little messages. I said it earlier that it's not the time to make presentations like Fortune Global has just done, just for you to relate with what we are doing today and a message from your various organizations. 2 minutes each so that we can work within the allotted time. I know some of you are looking at the time on your order of program. It's supposed to be 5 minutes now. Well, I'm holding the microphone, so I say it's 2 minutes. Thank you so much. It's for the benefit of all of us so that some of us can get out of Ireland as early as possible before the close of business. First, I like to, so when I call your organization, you come up to the rostrum here and give your goodwill message under the allotted time. Then I call on the next organization. First is to have Honorable Olumekun Olubumi, President, Burge Operators Association of Nigeria. Put your hands together for Honorable Olumekun. 2 minutes. Let's clap for him, please, Honorable. just for us to have commissioner at the end of the honorable commissioner. Thank you, sir. 2 minutes.
Not taking much of your time. Good morning, everybody. My name is Siliman Honorable Bumi Olumeku. I'm from the President Badge Association of Nigeria. So I'm here standing and to tell you that we don't have much to say than to just give our goodwill message. And our goodwill message is, we are not going to say much about it because we've already had a lot of justice to some of our problems and this by the speakers. But for us, as I said, we, as a badge operator, Nigerian Waterways connect about 28 states, which is a good asset to us. And we need to clap for that. That's from the from the God himself. Can we clap for that? So, as I said, that is the assets from the God himself. And from there, so we urge the government to fully harness this potential and investing on infrastructure, on the policies and the support of waterways transportation. So I think the government has to do a lot. The government has a lot of things to do with these policies. So with that, I just want to say thank you, but not just to talk, but we need to do the talking. We can't just be here, talk every time because we've been going to conferences, we're hearing about a lot of things, but we need to do the talk. Action. Thank you. We need to do the talk. Please, I don't want this to end here. We need to take it further so that we can have solution on our waterway. Thank you, and God bless you.
Let's put hands together once again for Honorable. Please, let's clap so well for Honorable, please. Just remain for me to add that Honorable, also looking at the hand, is also an Otumba, if I'm correct. Thank you so much, Honorable Olubumi. Next, we have Mr. Seson Onileimo. Am I correct? Mr. Seson Onileimo is the President, Maritime Industry Advocacy Initiative, Maine. Is he around? Okay, thank you so much. We move to what is next. Otumba Shola Adewumi, National President, Nigerian Shippers Owners Association, NISA. Put your hands together for Otumba Shola Adewumi. Put your hands together for Otumba, please.
Thank you very much. My name is Lcci Jubre. I'm also an Otumba anyway. So I'm standing in for my president. I am the General Secretary of the Nigerian Ship Owners Association. The importance of port efficiency can never be overemphasized because as an operator, we've, permit me to stand on existing protocol. My apologies, Mr. President. Okay, so as I said, the importance of port efficiency can never be overemphasized. We know what an inefficiency does, or what an inefficient port operation system does to an economy. We've had issues in the past as ship owners where we have brought in cargoes, both wet cargo, dry bulk cargo, and the vessels are staying at offshore for days because there are no berthing spaces. We've seen how this has compounded the problem of the economy. High costs of production, of course, eventually it will be transferred to the consumers. So I want to thank Lagos State, Lagos Chamber of Commerce for this stakeholders forum, for bringing us together. We have submitted a position paper and I hope it will be looked into, but let us engage with the regulators from time to time. It is important. I've heard Madam representing the Chiefers Council say here what the intermodal transport system has done to reduce the port congestion. But I will also say that there is a mismatch between the government investment in railway and the level of activities with railway. The MPA man would confirm that what APMT is doing from Apapa to Ibadan only takes about maybe 200 containers in a week. That's ridiculous. And also, the fact is that when they take the containers to Ibadan, they don't return with empty. Because APMT will not allow, they will say take containers to the holding base. This also increase cost of business, because when you take the containers with trucks to the different holding base, whatever you have paid to return the container to Nigerian Railway Corporation does not get to return to you. So these are all the issues that we need to look at with the Nigerian Shippers Council as the regulator of the port. You need to talk to APMT. I'm surprised that the major shipping lines are not here today and the regulators are talking. We are just talking to ourselves. The man from Fortune Global will agree with me that the major shipping lines needed to have been here today because they are the one running the ports. The concessionaires needed to have been here today because they are the one running the ports. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Otumba. Put your hands together once again for Otumba. Maybe Otumba is challenging us to organize 2.0 of this stakeholder meeting again, because he has mentioned those that are supposed to be here that he has not seen. So we believe when we bring them in, we will see Otumba and his team as well. Thank you once again, Otumba. We'd like to have the representative of Mr. Bolaji Sumonu, Chairman, Nigerian Port Consultative Council, MPCC, today ably represented by Mrs. Jane Anishere, SAN. Put your hands together for Jane Anishere, Vice President, Nigerian Maritime Law Association, for our goodwill. Thank you, man. I know you don't want my president to sack me for not doing the needful.
I'm the Vice Chairman, not Vice President, and Nigerian Ports Consultative Council. Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I bring you greetings from my chairman, Mr. Bolaji Sumola, chairman of the Nigerian Ports Consultative Council. Appreciating the LCCI for this very important topic on improving trade facilitation through port efficiency and cost effectiveness. A lot has been said by the keynote speakers, but I will just quickly present his paper and abridge it. Nigeria's seaport system is a gateway to our nation's economy, that's well known to us, and handling a significant portion of our international trade flows. Yet we have challenges about. These challenges have been identified, and there's need for us to find a solution to ameliorating the hardships and making our ports efficient and of best international standard. For instance, studies have found that improving port efficiency from the 25th to the 75th percentile can reduce shipping costs by approximately 12%. And I listened carefully to the president of LCCI talk about this. Now, port efficiency is a vital instrument in trade facilitation for several reasons. First, efficient port system or efficient port operations reduce dwell time and handling times. Now, when cargo turnaround times are minimized, the overall cost of importing and exporting declines. The ongoing implementations such as the National Single Window System have demonstrated potential reductions in port cost by up to 25%. Nobody talks about the national single window, and I'm surprised at that. So that's one project that we should endeavor to have implemented, which will obviously help to reduce um, the huge cost of doing business in our seaports. Now, the second challenge is the second um, how do I put it? The second instrument that we use to facilitate trade in our ports is the automation and digitization technologies. There's a great need for us to automate and digitalize our systems. I remember when Nigerian Shippers Council made a brilliant presentation and seeing our ports. I haven't been to the Lcci port, though I'm happy to hear that the Lcci port is an improvement of our ports, particularly in Apapa where I work. The human traffic is horrendous. It's totally not encouraging at all. So there's a need for us to ensure that we have digitalization system in our ports, and automation is very vital. The third, all right, so experiences from international smart ports in Singapore and Rotterdam have shown that automating clearance processes can significantly reduce delays, contributing to faster turnover and increased throughput. Examples we have in Rotterdam and Singapore are huge examples for us. So I rather look at Togo and Ghana. But of course, this is international trade, and there's nothing wrong with Africa's big brother, as we acclaim ourselves to be, to look at Rotterdam and Singapore. Indeed, we must have smart ports, and smart ports is having automation and digitalization systems in our ports. And the other third ambit of growing our ports, making it efficient, is by collaboration among government agencies and private sector partners. That has also been overflogged. Of course, there is need for collaboration. The PPP is a vital need for us to improve our ports. An example is the initiative in ports such as Busan and Dar es Salaam in Tanzania, which has showcased how targeted investments in infrastructure modernization and digital interoperability lead to enhanced service quality and increased port competitiveness. Now, let me briefly highlight some international examples and research findings. Global case studies from Singapore, once again, and Rotterdam demonstrate that integrating advanced digital systems which consolidate documentation and clearance processes not only reduces operating costs, but also attracts higher volumes of international traffic. In fact, if you do visit these ports in Rotterdam and Singapore, you hardly find any person. Even as close as the port in England, you can't see anybody. It's very difficult for you to find person. So you wonder if anybody is there. It's all digitalized. I don't know when we're going to get there. I heard Shippers Council tell us that we have about 12 days, if not more, 18 days for dwell time, and that when the international system is looking at a number of hours. So how do we achieve that? We can only achieve this where we automate, when we have smart ports, as opposed to the kind of ports we have nowadays in Nigeria. So these two ports that we are showcasing, as the ports in Singapore and Rotterdam, are templates for the Nigerian seaports to adopt. Similarly, several initiatives in Latin America have yielded noteworthy reductions in turnaround times through modest investments in digital technologies, showing that significant gains in cost effectiveness are achievable without exorbitant infrastructure expenditures. Now, research indicates that a 10% improvement in port performance can generate substantial reductions in trade costs, boosting bilateral trade volumes by up to 25%. Additionally, empirical studies on trade facilitation measures in Nigeria reveal that improving border efficiency and reducing redundant documentation have a positive impact on export performance. I would also like to commend Nigeria's initiatives in modernizing our port infrastructure, the fact of concessioning our ports. The concessionaires need to do better. We need to see modern infrastructures as opposed to what we have now. The development of our Lcci deep sea port, Global Fortune has showcased that. They seem to be enjoying the largesse from the Lcci deep sea port, which is recently commenced, has full commercial operations, and that's brilliant. It's expected to enhance our capacity to handle larger vessels and reduce congestion. Yes, it's been reported that some larger vessels had actually berthed at the Lcci port, and that's really exciting to note. A critical move that directly contributes to lower overhead costs and increase economic throughput is the fact of what we have at the Lcci deep sea port. Recently, we have the $600 million investment secured from APM Maersk, and this demonstrates our national commitment to upgrading port infrastructure, creating efficiencies, and alleviating long-standing bottlenecks in our port system. Coming to the end of his presentation, based on these insights and our collective experiences, I wish to outline our strategic recommendations. One, that we must accelerate our digital transformation by expanding the implementation of digital platforms, including a unified electronic trade clearance system. And that is what the National Single Window Forum is advocating. We need this. We need also to leverage on the artificial intelligence and big data analytics, which will enable us predict ship arrivals, optimize berth allocation, and enhance cargo tracking. I commend Nigerian Shippers Council for their upcoming project, which Ms. Ogbonna mentioned. We look forward to that. It's another form of introducing automation in our ports and giving us smart ports. At the same time, we must prioritize infrastructure modernization by investing in modern port equipment, such as automated cranes and container gantry systems. What we have in our ports are very archaic. Enhancing hinterland connectivity by upgrading road and rail networks to ensure seamless modal integration is equally vital. I'm happy that the barge operators are here represented. Barge operation is also another form of intermodal system. We also call for strengthened public-private partnership, I said that before, fostering investor confidence through regulatory reforms that streamline procedures and reduce bureaucratic delays will further support our endeavors. In addition, capacity building and regular stakeholder engagement are critical, just like what LCCI is doing today. So thank you, LCCI. Investment in training programs for port staff will ensure effective utilization of new technologies, while regular forums such as this to discuss innovations and share research findings will keep us all aligned on policy reforms that promote cost efficiency and trade facilitation. Finally, implementing performance metrics and benchmarking systems will allow us to continuously access our ports, access the port efficiency, and address emerging challenges swiftly with data-driven insights. In conclusion, enhancing port efficiency is not just a technical or operational challenge. It is a strategic imperative essential for facilitating trade effectively and driving sustainable economic growth. And so by embracing digital transformation, I cannot stop saying that we need to automate, we need to be digitalized, we need to go digital, we need to follow the world, we need to be internationally driven. We need to reduce the human traffic in our seaports. And so by embracing digital transformation, modernizing infrastructure, and fostering robust public-private partnerships, Nigeria can significantly reduce the cost of doing business at our seaports and become a world-class hub for international trade. Also, be able to promote and make a huge benefit from the AFCFTA project. And so I thank you all for your attention.
Let's put hands together once again for Mrs. Jane Anishere. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Representing the Nigerian Port Consultative Council, NPCC. I must confess that NPCC actually took me off my guards. I said 2 minutes. They spent like about 7 minutes. That is taking two other organizations' time. So I like to urge again that please, your position paper, she had given me this paper, please, you can also give me when you come and do like Otumba D, speak, Otumba is an orator, of course, speak as he did so that we can maximize our time. We still have a long time to do question and answer, about 30 minutes, so and I don't want to get to the question and answer. I'm rushing you. So on that note, I like to say 2 minutes is 2 minutes. By your 2 minutes, I will take the second microphone and continue my program. Thank you so much. So, drop your position papers with us, then you are good. You are in safe hands. Your questions, if you have any, please be writing them out now. When it gets to time, I'll bring regulatory agencies out, their representative. You can ask, read out the question directly to them. They provide answer. I may not be willing to give you microphone, just to save time. Just to save time. So please write out your questions. Mandara, Tonia, please help me get help get papers for our participants to write out their questions. I will not give the microphone out from experience. Next, for his goodwill in 2 minutes, Sir Emenike Kingsley Nwekej, National President, Association of Nigerian Licensed Custom Agent. Put your hands together for Sir Kingsley. Let's clap for Sir Kingsley, please. If you know in Catholic Church what he did to get Sir. Sir Kingsley.
Yes. Let me adopt the existing protocol. I will start with complaint. The terminal operators, I hope they are here. It's unfortunate that Nigerian custom is not here. The port belongs to custom all over the world. It's a custom port. You can facilitate trade, improve trade facilitation in any port without the customs. Even as terminal operator, you can't touch your cargo upon arrival until custom is through with it. So we can improve much. I hope we can achieve something today. I'm here on behalf of the Association of Nigerian Licensed Custom Agents, established under the Nigerian Parliamentary Literate Protection Act, Cap 83 of 1954. Our association is 71 years this year. We welcome this opportunity to present this position paper at this LCCI Stakeholder Forum on port efficiency. The paper outlines challenges and strategic recommendations aimed at improving facilitation of trade through port efficiency and cost effectiveness. Efficient port operations are fundamental to trade growth, economic expansion, and Nigeria's standing in global logistic ecosystem. However, high port charges, inadequate infrastructure, overlapping regulatory frameworks, and slow custom processes continue to impede operational efficiencies. This paper seeks to address some of these issues by providing data-driven insights, policy recommendations, and forward-looking strategies to reform Nigeria port system. ANACA, as a critical stakeholder in Nigeria maritime industry, remains committed to collaborating with government agencies, private sector players, and international partners to enhance port competitiveness and ensure a seamless, technology-driven cargo clearance system. Introduction. The Nigerian ports serves as a gateway to trade, yet inefficiencies such as high cost, infrastructural deficiencies, regulatory bottlenecks hinder their potential. From the heat the MC is giving me, it's difficult for us to operate this way because as key stakeholders in the port, every clearing agent interact with customs, MPA, shipping company, police, DSS, all these agencies that facilitate trade in the port. If you give us 2 minutes, I will not say maybe there is no point for us to discuss because we are the ones that fill the ports of all these agencies. So if you can just give me a minute, I will go through it. Port challenges, for instance, I will just go to the bullet points. I'm happy MPA is here. Not long ago, MPA increased their charges by 15%. And the irony is that this 15%, most of MPA charges now are in dollars, even for charges that are for services that are recorded are rendered locally. This adds to the cost of doing business in Nigeria. I'm just going through, I will give you the paper later. Then the port infrastructure. Just last week, within the port, the container my company loaded on a flat rack, the goods fell off inside the port and damaged another man's truck right inside the port in One Port. That will tell you how the road right inside the port because of bad road. The infrastructure there in the ports need to be looked into. We have heard so much from MPA. Loans are raised to improve the facility in the port. We are yet to see action just from one port before we talk about going to other ones. The automation system delays cargo clearance. So many of the agencies still encourage human contact for their personal gain. These things need to change. Then the regulatory framework and port efficiency. When we have NAFDAC, let me use NAFDAC for instance because they are here. When you are importing from India or China, you will pay NAFDAC, a company that is, just last 2 weeks or thereabout, they introduced Cotecna. You will pay them for CRI, Clean Report of Inspection in China and India. The same cargo arrives in Nigeria. You will go to NAFDAC to pay for inspection charge. The same cargo that you imported, you paid NAFDAC to get the permit. The same cargo you arrive, you will pay the same NAFDAC for clearance. All these payments you make on one cargo. If I can obtain CRI from overseas for a company that is being paid, and yet that document, NAFDAC, have no value for it, why do we need it? Because they will see do the inspection here. Why do we need it? If we go on, I hope Lcci will provide security for me because then if I go to multiplication of agency functions, You clear a cargo. You are asking me to stop. No, I will stop. He is telling me that he can't guarantee my safety. But don't worry. Don't worry, I will stop. You are clearing a cargo and you have obtained permit from NAFDAC. You establish from using NAFDAC permit. And at the end of the examination, Sun will tell you they are interested. Quarantine will tell you that they are interested in the pallets. Everybody is interested in the same item. How can we function this way? How can we facilitate trade this way? It can't work. Then we talk about the terminal operators. A lot have been mentioned about Singapore and no. Talk about a place we can drive down. To Ghana here. If you go to Ghana here, the port, you can't see up to 5 people inside the entire port. They have in one port in Tema alone, they have over 8 scanners. How many ports in Nigeria have one scanner? And the painful thing about this is that the same company doing this in Ghana, they are the same company in Apapa. So why are they operating differently in Ghana and differently in Nigeria? Now, network. Poor network. Every Friday, the server will go down and it will not come back until Monday. So, and we are talking about facilitating trade. And we talk about security. Ports all over the world operate 24 hours. And you talk about security here. The sea route or the seaway is not safe. The road is not safe. And the ports will close just like every other place. No. The ports function more at night. But here, no. So, why won't we have congestion? Now, we talk about the future outlook. We need to look at how we must go digital and transform our system. I'm just rushing this. Then, the big one. The currency of this country is not helping issues. To bat a vessel in West African countries here, you spend less than $20,000. But you bat a vessel in Nigeria, you pay more, not less than 180,000. The same vessel, dollars in this. So, and government on their part, they are not helping issues. All agencies of government are seen as revenue generating agencies. They are all given targets, and everyone is trying to outdo the other to meet up targets. Everything should not be about revenue. We should think about the common man. If we think the importer is paying import duty and all these charges, we are deceiving ourselves. It's not importer that is paying, it's me and you that is paying. Because the importer will pass it on to the goods and you will consume it and he will recover his money. So, every eye is on importation. What is special about importation? Like the whole world now is talking about tariff. Maybe in Nigeria, I have not bothered to read about what's going on. Our own tariff, some are up to 50%, which shows we are not important in the world. If not, the world will have even stopped doing business with us. To import ordinary car, Toyota Corolla, you pay 35%. Why? When there is no public transportation system in this country. If you go out there now, you will see if you count 3 people, 2 came with their personal car. Ordinarily, we can enter a train or a bus and arrive here. So, government on their own. Let's go to port charges and then pricing. We need to implement a transport predictable and cost-effective pricing structure to reduce financial burden on importers and exporters, of course, and the common man. Then the infrastructure. We need to invest in modern port infrastructure, including deep sea terminals, automation system, and smart cargo tracking. Implement a PPP partnership model to accelerate infrastructural development. Enhance turnaround times by integrating real-time cargo monitoring and digital port operation. Then the regulatory bodies. We need to harmonize them. You can't have these continuous overlapping functions of agencies. You are clearing tomato puree. NAFDAC will tell you they are interested in the content. Some will tell you they are interested in the can. Then the pallet is, quarantine will say they are interested in the pallet. All on one cargo. Meanwhile, there is a stamp on this cargo showing that it's been treated by quarantine overseas. Lcci, we remain grateful to you for this opportunity. We've been doing this fighting alone without you people. At a point, they start asking us that we cry more than the bereaved. We need to collaborate as we go on. Thank you for this opportunity, and may God bless us.
Thank you so much, Sir Kingsley. I'm very sure if you have your DSS here, you will ask him not to allow me to leave this place today. You have to openly confess that the eat, what I was giving you was more than eat, my brother. But thank God you are able to arrive at a point. I understand your passion for this and why this is important. But we just need to keep to time. I like to urge that the next set of goodwill messages, please, let's keep within the time. Remember, we still have some time for question and answer, except you want us to use these goodwill messages in place of the question and answer. Can I have? Thank you. I Chief Toshuku Ezizi, President, National Association of Government Approved Freight Forwarder. Let's put our hands together for I Chief Toshuku. Let's put our hands together for him, please.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Good afternoon, good morning, distinguished gentlemen and ladies here. My name is Godfrey Emeka Nwosu. I'm the Secretary General of National Association of Government Approved Freight Forwarders, and I'm standing in for my National President, who is unavoidably absent from this event. We're here to deliver a goodwill message at this occasion where Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry is organizing event on improving trade facilitation through port efficiency. My big brother started with a complaint. I will follow suit by informing us here that an average freight forwarder suffers the consequences of port inefficiency. How? It is the freight forwarder who sees to door, office to office, running and processing of cargo that is being imported into Nigeria. On behalf of the National Association of Government Approved Freight Forwarders, NAGAF, I extend our warm congratulations to Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry on the occasion of improved event, on this important event focused on trade facilitation through port efficiency to reduce cost of doing business. NAGAF recognizes the critical role that efficient port operation plays in driving economic growth and facilitating seamless international trade. A key stakeholder in the Nigerian maritime sector that we are our members, that is, licensed custom brokers, freight forwarders, are faced with daily challenges of stemming from port inefficiency, which directly impact on the cost of doing business. We commend the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry for this proactive initiative to bring together key players, policy implementators, and experts to discuss strategies for enhancing port efficiency. This aligns perfectly with NAGAP's long-standing advocacy for reform improvement in our port. For too long, businesses have struggled with delays, bottlenecks, cumbersome procedures within our port system. These inefficiencies not only inflict the cost of goods and services, but also undermine our competitiveness in the global market. Therefore, this forum provides a valuable opportunity to collaborate, identify challenges, share insights, and propose actionable solutions. NAGA firmly believes that achieving this trade facilitation requires a multifaceted approaches, including but not limited to, like every other person here, have emphasized the need for modernization of infrastructure and equipment, streamlining procedures, and effective collaboration, like every other speaker or goodwill messenger have mentioned here. Not forgetting capacity building as well, as mentioned. All these are component factors that are very, very important in ensuring port efficiency that will enhance trade in doing business and also reduce cost. NAGAF remains committed to actively participating in discussions and initiatives aimed at improving port efficiency and reducing the cost of doing business in Nigeria. We are confident that the deliberations at this event will yield valuable recommendations that, when implemented, will significantly contribute to the more vibrant and competitive Nigerian economy. Once again, we congratulate the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry for organizing this timely and important event. We look forward to a fruitful discussion and a renewed commitment from all stakeholders to achieve our shared goal of more efficient and business-friendly port environment. High Chief Tochukwu Ezisi. I'm not the High Chief. My national president is the High Chief. Thank you very much.
Let's put hands together for the representative of High Chief, please. Secretary General, he said, thank you so much, sir, for representing him well. We'd like to have next Comrade Prince Adewale Adeyanju, President, Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria. Let's put hands together for Prince if he's in. All right, thank you so much. I go to next. Ayok, Deputy Director, E-Clearance, Port Inspection Directorate, representing the Director General of NAFDAC. Let's put hands together for the Deputy Director for his goodwill.
Good afternoon, everyone. You did not answer me. Good afternoon, everyone. I want to stand on existing protocols. This man has been murdering my name, and I needed to challenge him. My name is Ayankop Ayankop. I'm a Nigerian like any one of you, so I'm sending him a note of warning. All right. Ankla challenged NAFDAC for, charging for services that we render. This is not the time to answer his question, so I will just go straight to the DG's goodwill message. And if the opportunity comes to respond to some of those things, we will do that. So permit me to just read the Director General's goodwill message. And thereafter, we know what to do. Goodwill message of the DG NAFDAC at the LCCI Stakeholder Forum on Port Efficiency It is an honor to address the Lagos Chamber of Commerce Stakeholder Forum on Port Efficiency, where we gather to discuss pivotal initiatives that enhance our import and export trade facilitation. As we navigate the complexities of global trade, we recognize the critical role that efficient ports play in driving economic growth and fostering international commerce. As a globally recognized customer-focused regulator in import and export trade, our regulatory initiatives are aimed at facilitating port efficiency and creating a more streamlined and responsive logistics environment to boost trade in regulated products while safeguarding the health of the populace. These initiatives not only aim to reduce waiting times and bolster operational effectiveness, but also advocate transparency and standardized processes that benefit all stakeholders involved. By embracing these regulations, we are taking significant strides towards reducing congestion, promoting faster turnaround times, and ensuring the safe and effective handling of goods. Moreover, collaboration between public and private sectors will allow us to leverage innovative solutions that address current challenges while anticipating future needs. I firmly believe that through collective effort and shared knowledge, we can create a robust framework that promotes seamless trade operations and strengthens our local economy. I encourage every participant to engage actively in discussions today and share insights that can lead to actionable strategies. Together, we can cultivate a thriving trade environment that benefits our community and elevates our position in the global market. I thank the Lagos Chambers of Commerce and Industry for organizing this stakeholder forum and for her commitment and dedication to improving port efficiency. I wish you fruitful deliberations and a prosperous future. This is signed by Professor Mojisola Christiana Adeyeye, Director General, NAFDAC. We have also sent in our position paper. It's been received, and when the time comes to talk about it, we will do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for that short one, as it is. Next is the representative of the NASIMA. We have with us Engineer Christopher Amakulo. He is the Director of Shipping Development at the Commission. Let's put hands together for Engineer Christopher for the NIMASA. Is he in? Let's put hands together for Engineer Christopher. NIMASA, yes, I said NIMASA. Okay.
Good afternoon, all. Permit me to stand on existing protocol. I'm here on behalf of the Director General and Chief Executive Officer of the Nigeria Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, the Apex Maritime Regulatory Agency in Nigeria. And this afternoon, I'm going to present his goodwill message based on the regulatory framework and policy effectiveness. And we are going to be taking it in two parts. One, we'll be looking at assessment of port regulatory reforms to enhance ease of doing business and recommendation for regulatory reforms to enhance ease of doing business. As a way of introduction, the effectiveness of port regulatory agencies is paramount to ensuring efficiency, safety, and competitiveness in maritime trade. However, as highlighted in the assessment of Nigeria's port regulatory landscape, overlapping functions among agencies such as the Nigerian Port Authority, NPA, Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, Customs, and other lead agencies lead to inefficiencies, increased costs, and operational delays. You heard the ANCLA representative highlighting some of these things earlier on. This position paper outlines the challenges posed by these overlaps and proposes actionable reforms to streamline operations, reduce bureaucracy, and enhance the ease of doing business in the maritime sector. Some of the key challenges we identified are: one, functional overlaps. You find out that multiple agencies, like I mentioned, MPA, NIMASA, Customs, and others, often perform similar tasks, such as vessel inspections, safety enforcement, and cargo clearance, leading to duplicated effort and wasted resources. Conflicting regulations and unclear jurisdictional boundaries create confusion for stakeholders, including shipping companies and terminal operators. Secondly, operational inefficiencies. Repeated inspections and documentation requirements delay cargo clearance, increasing demurrage costs and reducing port competitiveness. Bureaucratic red tapes and corruption risk arise from unclear fee structure and access control disputes. I beg your pardon. Thirdly, high transaction costs. The lack of coordination among agencies result in higher compliance costs of business and undermining Nigeria's attractiveness as a trade hub. So, we are proposing the following reforms to address these challenges. Number one, harmonizing of roles and responsibilities. We need to clearly define the mandate of each agency to eliminate duplication. For example, MPA should focus on port infrastructure and operations, while NIMASA handles maritime safety and security. We need to designate a lead coordinating agency, maybe MPA or a new entity, to oversee overlapping functions such as cargo clearance, ensuring a unified approach. Number two, implementation of integrated digital platforms. We need to develop a single window system to consolidate all regulatory processes, including that of Customs, the Port Authority, and every other agency, into one digital platform. Nigerian law, maritime, I think the SAN spoke earlier about the importance of the single window. In NIMASA, we are keen into the single window. In fact, as a matter of fact, last Monday, we are with the technical team of the single window implementation committee. And we are already integrating all our business processes in NIMASA, even our automated system, to align with the single window that is coming up. This will reduce paperwork and physical inspections. We need to introduce automated cargo tracking and clearance systems to enhance transparency and speed up trade flows. Number three, streamline inspection and documentation. We need to replace multiple inspections with joint inspections conducted by a unified team representing all relevant agencies. We need to standardize documentation requirements across agencies to reduce redundancy and simplify compliance for businesses. Number four, policy and legislative reforms. Amend outdated laws and that perpetuate overlaps, such as conflicting safety or fee regulations. Establish an independent regulatory review committee to periodically assess agency performance and recommend improvements. Fifthly, stakeholder engagement and capacity building, such as this. Organize regular stakeholder forums involving regulators, shipping companies, and terminal operators to address operational bottlenecks. We need to invest in training programs for agency staff to modernize their skills in port management, digital tools, and international best practices. In conclusion, the current fragmentation among Nigeria's port regulatory agencies undermines the sector's potential to drive economic growth and facilitate seamless trade. By implementing the proposed reforms, that is,
harmonizing roads, adopting digital solutions, streamlining processes, and strengthening stakeholder collaboration will make Nigeria significantly enhance port efficiency, reduce costs, and improve its global competitiveness. These changes will not only benefit business, but also position the country as a leading maritime hub in the region. A call to action. We urge our sister agencies and private sector stakeholders to prioritize the idea of these reforms through collaborative action. A cohesive regulatory framework is essential to unlocking the full potential of Nigeria's maritime sector and fostering a business-friendly environment for all. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, sir. All right, we have like 2 or 3 goodwill messages. We'll do that very fast. We have the representative of the chairman and secretary general of Abuja MOU, Barrister Lcci Etegara. Is she in? I saw her the other time. Let's put down together for Barrister, please. Let's clap for her, please.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. A lot has been said, and obviously we all are speaking with one mind. I bring you the greetings of the chairman, Abuja MOU, Honorable Ibrima Sila. He's the transport minister for the Gambia. And I also bring the greetings of the Secretary General, Captain Sunday Umoren. He sends his regard. He's currently in Gambia facilitating one of our statutory meetings. May I stand on existing protocols and present the goodwill of the chairman and the Secretary General. It is with great pleasure and optimism that I extend this goodwill message on behalf of the chairman and the Secretary General of the Memorandum of Understanding on Port State Control for West and Central African Region. The Abuja has 22 member states from Mauritania to South Africa, including the island of Cape Verde, Sao Tome, and Principe. Our main objective is to ensure that no substandard vessel trade within the West and Central African region. By virtue of this mandate, we stand as a partner that conducts due diligence for you to ensure that your ports are safe. In an era where global competitiveness is increasingly shaped by how well nations manage trade, logistics, the performance of Nigerian ports stands at the heart of its economic aspirations. Port state and security compliance with international standard, port charges, and overall competitiveness remain major concerns for both domestic and international users and investors. While efforts have been made to streamline tariffs, there is still a compelling need to review the cost structure at the Nigerian port terminals to ensure that they are not only regionally competitive, but also globally attractive. High ports, charges, and inefficiency must give way to the value-driven approach that benefits both operators and users. This is the argument. There is the argument that shippers have no choice in using national ports for transacting national cargoes, but this is so limiting, noting the fact that high tariff will make your ports unattractive to shipments and used by landlocked countries, and also that the higher tariffs being charged is transferred to end users through high freight costs. Shipping is dynamic in every aspect, including the ever-increasing sizes of ships drawing deeper drafts, and thus the need of deep-sea ports and environmental consciousness, turning to green and smarter ports. Where is Nigeria in the scheme of things? An honest assessment of Nigeria's port infrastructure reveals both progress and pressing gaps. While modernization efforts such as the Lcci deep-sea port are commendable, many existing facilities are overstretched and in urgent need of upgrade to meet growing trade demands, innovation, technological trend. The truth is that the world is moving very, very fast when it comes to digitalization and technological trends. Capacity constraints, aging infrastructure, and limited automation continue to hamper the swift movement of goods, often translating to increased dwell time and higher cost. Equally important is Nigeria's port regulatory framework. A streamlined, transparent, and coordinated regulatory environment is vital to eliminating bottlenecks and enhancing investors' confidence. We must continue to work together towards policy alignment across port authorities, customs, and other related agencies, an approach that not only improves compliance but also reinforces institutional trust. Yes, we have identified with these through the ease of doing business and alignment with a single window, but the pace is slow and Nigeria needs to go back to being pace setters, to which it was always noted for. Logistics, connectivity, and hinterlands access remain key pillars of efficient trade. The Nigerian ports must not exist in isolation. Seamless integration in inland transport, railroad, and inland waterways is fundamental to unlocking its full potentials. The source of any port not only depend on its waterside operations, but also on how well it connects to the market it serves. Security, trade, facilitation, and custom processes are interlinked components that significantly influences ease of doing business. We must continue to build a secure port system that prioritizes safety, enhances operational transparency, and leverages on technology for smarter custom processes. The deployment of scanners, effective utilization of our single window platform, and paperless trade system will be decisive in this regard. We, within the port state control regime, remain committed partners and stakeholders, recognizing the critical importance of effective port state control as a cornerstone of maritime safety and compliance, ensuring that vessels calling at our ports meet international standards. As we push for reforms and future forward strategies, let us equally strengthen our regulatory oversight to ensure that our waters remain safe, our ports compliant, and our flag respected. Just last week at the African Harbour Masters Conference held in Cape Town, the South Africans went all out in demonstrating to the participants present how they are implementing port state control, how they are developing their port infrastructures, how they are implementing innovative technologies, collaborating, and demonstrating a very good working synergy between their maritime stakeholders, government agencies, institutions, private sectors, and international partners. These are one of the things that we can learn from other neighboring countries. It is important for Nigeria as a member of various regional and international maritime organizations to move with the tide of progress that are rapidly on the rise if it wants to maintain its place as a leading maritime hub in Africa. As we look to the future, the improvement of Nigeria's ports lies in collaborative reforms, inclusiveness, strategic and sustainable policies, investment, and a shared commitment to excellence. One thing that we must strive to achieve, even as we agree to work together, is excellence. Because at the end of the day, excellence prevailed against all. I encourage all stakeholders, ministers, directorates, and agencies, private sectors, investors, and international partners to continue working together towards a port that truly facilitates trades, empowers the economy, and secures Nigerians' place in history. Thank you, and may our collective efforts lead us to a more prosperous, efficient system for port in Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much from the Abuja MOU Chair and Secretary General today. We have just two more goodwill messages to go, and these will be coming from the in-house here, the SCCI groups. We have first, beautiful Madam, I must say, Fumi Foloruncho, Chair of the LCCI Maritime Group. For I know she doesn't have a long position. Put your hands together for beautiful Madam Fumi for Lawrence for goodwill message. Thank you, man.
My president, I want to thank you for this forum. Timely, efficient, and you can see what it has brought out. My dear brother, Sir Lcci Smith, I want to commend you. I can see my sister pointing her hand at me, at him. This is what LCCI has been set up to do. Advocacy. Let us know what are the inefficiencies and what should be done. Distinguished audience, I do not have a goodwill message because I'm part of organizing this. But this is LCCI Stakeholders Forum on Port Efficiency, Part 1. Clap for yourselves. What you have brought up are very, very important, and we will work on it to reconvene. Thank you, Shippers Council. Thank you, Ports Authority. But we cannot no longer have forums like this and have the Nigerian Customs Service absent, no representative. It is no longer acceptable. And we would urge that the LCCI, when we're putting together a report, let us include that. Secondly, I was looking through, as Ports Authority was going through, very commendable. But I'm reading online your mandate. Develop, own, operate, provide safe and navigable channel, maintain port facility, ensure safety, security, develop and own property. Nowhere is it mentioned that port efficiency in Nigeria is part of your mandate. So once you do these services, you've done your best. One of our recommendations as the Maritime Group is that in line with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's mandate to the whole country, your KPI must be how efficient is our port. And we are hoping that by the next Stakeholders Forum on Port Efficiency, organized by the Maritime Group, by the Advocacy Group, by the Freight Forwarding Group, and all others, we will be here to hear these are your numbers. Turnaround time, we want to understand how efficient are our ports. Shippers Council, we thank you. The fact that up till this time yesterday, the ES was communicating and saying you would be here, and you are here, we say thank you. But we're looking at a regulatory role for you. Laudable achievements, but there is still more to be done. We're losing out on AFCFTA right now, and Madam, you know very well. We have an inefficient port system, and we can no longer, as a nation, continue with this. It is no longer acceptable. Mr. President has set up a specific department, ministry, and all whatnot. He has put together efficient chief executives for all the agencies. Therefore, to say, this is what we're doing, this is what we're doing, and it does not translate to efficient ports in 2025 is no longer acceptable. Once again, I thank, I am going to follow, I promised myself, if I ever got the microphone, I would say this. Fortune Global, excellent work. You ensured that you publicized Fortune Global. So I'm going to stand on existing protocols and ask you all, if you're already members of the LCCI, please join the Maritime Group. Can I repeat that? Please join the Maritime Group. Finally, thank you for coming, but please join the Maritime Group. Thank you.
Let's put down together again for beautiful Madam Fumi for lunch. So thank you. I know she was going to tell us those three things, which is please join the Maritime Group. She repeated it 3 times, and I think we must do before we leave here today. Thank you so much. Next, but not the last, but the last for now, is Mr. Lcci Shobande. He is the chairman, Freight Forwarder Group of the SCCI. Let's put your hands together for Mr. Lcci Shobande. Let's clap for him, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let me first of all commend our president for this event, and most importantly, for a well thought out team for this event. As particularly at this time, when the world more or less is going through a global trade and tariff challenges. As we speak, our ports cannot pass as providing optimum services, be it at the air or seaports. In fact, the land borders are no better. Stakeholders, freight forwarders, importers, exporters, SMEs spend quality time mourning and talking about, or wasting resources actually, basically about the spiraling costs of doing business in our ports. In light of the present situation, today's conversation shall be incomplete if we are unable to highlight and prefer solutions aimed at improving our dilapidating port infrastructure, which are less than efficient cargo handling, customs release delivery processes, and most importantly, the sometime unprofessional conduct of some of the government regulatory agencies responsible, so to speak, are supposed to be responsible for the ease of doing business at the port, which have remained unacceptable. Port access remains a challenge, resulting in high haulage costs, even with the air-to call-up system introduced about 3 years ago. Cargo and container scanning, examination, customs release processes remain short of international best standards. Establishment of the MPA, whatever they call the EPT, have come with additional cost to export business at the port with no verifiable value addition or to the ease of doing business. The cost or efficiency of services offered by shipping companies terminal operators are also questionable. Generally, the arbitrary increase of rates charged for services offered by lead agencies like the MPA and some others, result in the increase in the cost of goods clearance, oftentimes without adequate notice or consultation with stakeholders, freight forwarders, and business owners, can best be described as harsh, and in many cases have led to business closures. The talk about or the ongoing project of national single window has been overflowed today, and we just hope and pray that when this comes to fruition, it will drastically reduce human interface at our ports. Our port situation presently is a shameful one, where you can best be described as a marketplace. So all these add to cost. I want to stop at this point and just to wish all participants a very fruitful deliberations today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for that short one. We'd like to, just before we go to the question and answer, I must confess that I have the questions with me right here in my pocket, so we are good. Except we have new ones that our ladies can get to me, so that will fasten the question and answer session beyond what I had planned. So we have next for his goodwill message on behalf of the Manufacturer Association of Nigeria, we have Engineer Frank Ike Onyebu. He's here. He's a past chairman at Papa Branch. He's here representing the president of MAN, Otumba Francis Meshoye. Put your hands together for him, please. We're not clapping the way I like.
Thank you very much. As you have already heard, my name is Engineer Frank Onyebu. I represent the president of MAN, Otumba Francis Meshoye OFR. Permit me to stand on the already existing protocols. I have to commend the LCCI for their time management. We are really not too far from the program, so I'll try as much as possible to keep to time. I don't know if I will meet the 2 minutes, but I'll try. Yeah. Distinguished stakeholders, guests, ladies and gentlemen, a goodwill message by President of the Manufacturer Association of Nigeria at the LCCI Stakeholders Forum on port efficiency in Nigeria. It is a great pleasure to be here at this important Stakeholders Forum on port efficiency in Nigeria. I would like to extend my greetings to all the participants, including esteemed government officials, industry leaders, captains of industry, and representatives from various sectors who have gathered here to discuss a matter of utmost significance to our nation's economic growth and development. The Manufacturers Association of Nigeria is well aware of the critical role that efficient port operations play in our manufacturing sector and on the broader economy. Our ports are not just gateways for goods and products. They are vital arteries that facilitate trade, foster investment, and drive innovations. However, we all recognize the challenges that have persisted in our port systems, which can hinder our competitiveness and growth. Today, we have the opportunity to engage in meaningful conversations and collaborate on solutions that will enhance efficiency in our ports. It is imperative that we work together to streamline processes, reduce bottlenecks, and improve the overall logistics frameworks that support our industries. By doing so, we can not only enhance our manufacturing capabilities, but also contribute to job creation and sustainable economic development. I want to commend the efforts of all stakeholders involved in this forum. Their commitment to improving port efficiency is commendable and reflects a shared vision for a prosperous Nigeria. I encourage each of you to actively participate in discussions and share your experiences and propose actionable solutions that can be implemented in the short, medium, and long term. We must strive to advocate for all government agencies at the ports to streamline the multiplicity of port charges, levies, and taxes in order to create a positive and friendly business climate for industries to thrive. Let us remember that the success of our manufacturing sector, and indeed most business sectors, is intertwined with the efficiency of our ports. By fostering a collaborative environment and leveraging our collective expertise, we can overcome the challenges we face and unlock all potentials in our economy. In closing, I would like to express my gratitude to LCCI for bringing us together and for your dedication to enhancing trade facilitation and export processes in Nigeria. I look forward to the fruitful deliberation ahead and to the positive outcome that will emerge from our collective efforts. Thank you all, and let us work together towards a more efficient and prosperous future for Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you, engineer. You actually did. Not so much, far beyond the 2 minutes we agree. Thank you, sir. So we would like to get to the question and answer. I begin to look at my hall. People are standing either to go out or to skip some item to go to the refreshment time. I don't know what is happening outside. I'd like to urge us, please, let's come to sit down. The entrance seems to be congested. Let's be back to our seat. We have the questions, so we're going to do this very fast. Some of them are, a majority of them are directed at the custom, but as you can see, we do not have their representative here, so I will skip those questions directed to at the custom and they go to the ones that are here. So, to make it very fast, Mr. President, sir, we'd like you to, Mr. President, sir, we'd like you to be Thank you. So, we also like to have the representative of the Shippers Council. We have Mrs. Margaret Obona, Director of Regulatory Services at the Council. Please, let's welcome Madam to the front row for the question, please. Can we please clap for her, please? Everybody seems to be busy. Yes, ma'am, please. Thank you. Last but not the least, my brother who had accused me, and who is also I'm expecting his bill. He has promised to send his bill to me. Let's put our hands together for the Deputy Director, E-Clearance, Port Inspection Directorate, representing the Director General of NANDAC. Let's put our hands together for Ayop. Let's put our hands together for him, please. So, like I said, there are about a few questions here. But I see that some of them are directed at the customs. So permit me to skip the one that is directed at the customs. The first one is questions to Nigeria Customs Service. So we don't need to, and it's a long story, clearance of cargo and all, talked about that. The next one also is custom operation in service charge. It's also directed at custom. What is the position of the ASCFTA gazetting, and I think it's also directed at custom. What is the process of getting the permit for export as is to enjoy the concession benefit as obtainable in other neighboring country? He said it's directed at custom. I don't know whether it's relevant to any of, maybe to my brother from NAFDAC. Okay, the next is inefficiencies of the custom network service. When are they, I didn't get this handwriting, in which cases on, it's also to custom also. What question directed to the Nigerian custom also? There is very clear. Okay. Since most of the questions are directed at the custom, so I'll give the audience the opportunity to just ask your questions directly. Most of the questions here are directed at the custom. Let's just go. Why I was avoiding the microphone is for us to minimize the time. Let's go directly to just the question.
I will make sure. Good morning. My name is Victoria Onofo Kombadino. I work for Yodesins Nigeria Limited. My question is, I don't know who can answer this question, but my question is, if the port is congested, why should the importer be paying for demurrage? That's one. Then because the congestion is not because it's due to the importer, but we are asked, because they couldn't get the consignment out, so we are asked to pay demurrage. So I want to know why. Then secondly, I want to know who is in charge of the terminal charges and the shipping charges, who ensure that we're not being overcharged. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So, okay. Ma, just know the question. Okay, you want to take the question directly. I just want to take like two more. But okay, maybe I should allow you to take that one before we go to the next one. Have the microphone.
Okay, thank you very much. You asked a question on who is in charge of terminal and shipping charges. The Nigerian Shippers Council, our regulation is to ensure there is no arbitrariness in charges. You don't wake up and decide to make any charge to the industry. And we are also to ensure that the charges are fair, transparent, and affordable. That's the role of the Nigerian Shippers, one of our regulations. So the issue of demurrage, yes, you know, the system, that's why we are talking of digitalization of the system. When it comes to demurrage, the demurrage shouldn't be paid by the shipper, except if the shipper is responsible for that. But we have a situation where you cannot establish, that's part of the inefficiencies we are looking at. we cannot establish at what point the delay started, because it's the delay that causes demurrage. At what point the delay started and at what point it ended. And we need the stakeholders to come forward, as many that have come forward with established facts that they are not responsible for the delay. The Nigerian Shippers Council has helped in recovering those costs back to the individual or organization. That's where the challenge is. So that's why we've been advocating for digitalization. You will always know at what point there is service failure. Once there is service failure, our mantra is whoever caused the service failure should bear the cost of the service, because service failure comes with a cost.
Thank you, man. I'll give the opportunity for the next set of questions, but okay, you want to make a comment? Okay.
Which other question?
Let me just add to what my sister agency has just said about congestion. So when we talk about congestion itself, we need to establish, she was saying, what is congestion? Congestion can be at the seaside, it can be at the land side. So let's start from the seaside. If there's a congestion in the seaside, then the challenge or the problem will lie with the port authority or the terminal operators, as well as the custom agencies, if it's at the seaside. And now, what have we done to remove that clog? We ask agents, there are platforms available inside that you send your documentation ahead of time. And most times from our record, we don't have issue with pre-documentation before it comes. Now, the challenge from what we've seen at the seaside is that sometimes the agent themselves might not declare the same with custom and Nigerian Port Authority. And the documentation, probably they have additional cargo along the way. That cargo, even if Nigerian Port Authority clears it, custom will still have to verify. So our challenge from that point of view is the fact that digitalization is minimal, irrespective. Even if the documentations are okay, custom with their own operation might decide to do 100% physical examination. That sometimes creates some issues. Now, note that the terminal operators are responsible in placing the cargo for inspection. So from that circle, there could be slight delays. And that delays, responsibility will lie with the agents as well as Nigerian Custom and our end, that's our terminal operators operating. That is one level. The other aspect of congestion is the land side now, trucking in and trucking out. Yes, okay, so we acknowledge the fact that the ETO, as it's presently constituted, is not as efficient as we want. Now, we are coming from where there was no electronic call-up system to where we have call-up system right now. So from our indication, there have been 30% increase efficiency created with that ETO. Now, I will tell you the challenge. We observe that with ETO, there have been a lot of trying to beat the system by truckers. A trucker is supposed to take cargo and straight to the port and depart. From experience, truckers will go, drop, then loiter around. What are they doing? Sometimes, some of the challenge we've seen, the numbering of the truck are being tampered with. They have another business. There are a lot of issues happening around that area, which Shippers Council was saying, our approach of doing business. So it affects what we're seeing. But we also acknowledge the fact that now, what are we doing? We're asking our terminal operators now and the ETO system to be integrated in such a way that if a truck is called into the system, into the port, will not have ability to go to another terminal to pick or to drop. Because that's the lacuna we have seen. That is what we are addressing, one of the things we are addressing. However, also the aspect of the agent or the truck drivers and all is still there. But for us as an agent, what are we doing? We noticed that a truck will come in, move around, drop, and sometimes change their numbers because they have series of them. So we are trying to tighten that so that we can improve the efficiency of the call-up system. The call-up system is like a dummy. You call up, you go, and you're supposed to come back, but it's not happening because of our system here. Secondly, recently CBN came up with the idea of a fine to make exports feasible. You put their what's it called, this requirement for them. But what the agent does is to beat the time, they put any documentation, hoping that when it comes to the time of actual operation, they will change the documentation. They put that because they want to hasten the system. Well and good. However, the documentation they have at the EP centers, as well as what is on the paper of custom, do not tally. Then you call them, they'll start trying to streamline it. So we have observed that there are delays in that system. So these are issues that's causing the land side part of the documentation. For the seaside, like I said, observation is like the badge operator. We've met with them. Badge operators will tell you that from the seaside, there have been delays for them to move cargo internally. So that's within the waterways. So we are working at a process where, because if a bigger vessel is coming, definitely, and the size is limited, there will be a need to shift back. How to make that transparent and open so that everybody understands what's happening is something that we are working on. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We'll take some other questions, but I like our president need to make one or two comments quickly. Mr. President, sir.
Okay, thank you. Just two comments. While the event was going on, we had some of our leaders come in. We had our eminent Live Vice President, Ms. Shadiba Martin Young. We want to welcome you. We had our Vice President and Chairman of BEST, the Business Education Services and Training, Princess Layo Bakari Okeo, who came in. Thank you very much. On the event itself, I want to charge the industry, the maritime industry, to codify the recommendations that we have today, the very specific recommendations that are coming out today. Anklar, a lot of the key holders, there are very specific recommendations that we have had. Simple things like benchmark between here and Tema. It's easy to deal with. Before we go to Singapore and Rotterdam, we would like to codify the recommendations from this event. If all the stakeholders who have made recommendations, we would like to codify them. The process will be assigned to the Maritime Group, the Chairman Maritime Group, and our research and advocacy. We want to produce a document that will reach the highest level of government from today's event. The very specific, actionable recommendations. Some of them we can see are really actionable. There's no difference. There's no reason why Lagos Port and Tema Port cannot perform at the same level of efficiency. And so because we have a great responsibility here in Lcci as a premier advocacy body for business in this country. To do that, we want to get evidence-based advocacy and put it in front of governments. So I want to urge you to work with the chairman of our maritime group, Mrs. Fumi Folonshaw, probably she's still around, and our advocacy department. I want to be able to have that document as soon as possible, review it with stakeholders, and ensure that it is put in the hands of the top level of government and follow through on some. It has been mentioned there are short-term, medium-term, and long-term changes that can happen. For the short and medium term, we want to see that they happen. We don't want to stop at talking. So that's my appeal. I want to give my word and to say that if we can put that document together, we will ensure that it gets to the highest level of government. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. So we need to wind down this meeting in the next 10 minutes, I've been told. So I will just take 2 more comments. The answer, this is what I was going to avoid when I talked about the questions. Okay. Okay, sir.
Thank you very much. It's a pity that some of the key stakeholders are not here, like the customs and all that. But there are some key issues which all of us know. We are aware that the demurrage, whoever, the importer pays demurrage in Nigeria, no matter what cost it. And that is the reason why some of the port officials would delay you deliberately. They know that, especially things related to corruption, we know what is happening. And they do that knowing that you will eventually approach them or you'll be paying the other way. We need to have a system where somebody can raise up an issue that this thing is happening. But in most cases, an individual can hold you hostage and nothing comes out of it. And it continues that way until at the end of the day, you decide to play ball or you do it the other way. So we need to have a way of circumventing some of the problems that we all know are happening in the port. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Vice President.
Thank you very much. I stand on all existing protocol. To be honest, I empathize with the Shippers Council. I'm not saying this because they are there. I've been with you, not you personally, but about 2 times or 3 times on some issues, and within 1 week, it was solved. So I'll give you kudos for that. But we need to be blunt on what is really happening. Government is our problem. Why I'm saying government is our problem is because the revenue that each arm is supposed to generate is the cause of the problem. And the economy is heated already. You cannot continue to compound our problem. If we have removed oil subsidy, it's supposed to sort of add to where there are minuses. But because it is a must, come and see each arm. I'm sorry to be blunt. Each arm at the end, towards maybe a week to the end of the month, if they've not met their revenue, either you are right or you are wrong, you must pay. And all these things is going back to the end user. We have signed the AFCTA. We are supposed to be the giant of Africa. Is it good that other African countries will be producing cheaper than us? This act of generating revenue, government has to slow down on it. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everybody. I stand on this existing protocol. I've been a chairman of the first female chairman of the transport group of the Lcci High. I'm highly delighted that our president is here and the other executive of the chambers. here today, and I'm highly impressed that we're having this kind of symposium this afternoon. This thing has been long for over 20 years, and I think it's high time for all the agencies to wake up and do the needful. Because when you are forming your consultative, late Folarin, I took over from him as the chair lady of the transport group of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And all this thing came through the chamber. We recommended so many things here. Ours is to present to the government. The other one is to do the follow-up and the needful. But here at the chamber, I'm just talking to all the agencies with the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It's frustrating for we coming all the time, presenting a paper to the highest authority. At the end of the day, nothing will be forthcoming. MPA, they have their problems. And that is why when Chief Folarin was alive, I think he has contributed immensely to the growth of the MPA. May his gentle soul rest in perfect peace. I think it's high time. We are not helping this nation, and we are not helping our country as a whole. We have to be factual with our statements. And when we are sitting down like this, it's not because we want to take Fanta or Coke. We are all business people, and we're investing every day. Nothing is forthcoming. I think it's high time for all the agencies to wake up and do the needful. Please, don't frustrate us. We are really here for the business. May the Lord continue to be with us and guide us in all our ways. Thank you very much.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Okay, I was actually my name is Joseph Iwedike. I work for Chivita Hollandia. I was the one that actually put across the first question that you read out. Probably I did not, the question was not properly phrased. Why I put up the question, not mainly for customs anyway, I just felt that since the various stakeholders are here, and the representative of MAN is here also, and Nigeria Chamber of Commerce, I just felt I needed an insight on the African Continental Free Trade Zone, Free Trade Area, the policy. I was meant to understand that it's going to be gazetted in March. That it's going to be gazetted in March, and there is supposed to be a permit that will be obtained to enable exporters, to enable the concernees over there to have some benefit based on the concession that we have by being a beneficiary of the African Continental Free Trade Area. Then my second question, I felt since the Manufacturing Association of Nigeria representative is here, payments were made, 4% on FOB was paid to custom recently regarding the service charge of custom operation, which actually was revoked, and those assessments were cancelled. Unfortunately, customs were not here. But I believe Manufacturing Association of Nigeria, they have been instrumental in ensuring that things are in line, especially with importers and with Ministry of Finance in collaboration with the Customs Service. I don't know if they will have any idea of how one can make an application for such reform. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I believe I've captured all hands that are up. Thank you, Mr. President. My president had said that would be the last question, and I obey that. So, do we have any reactions to some of the comments?
Thank you so much for that thought-provoking. That's not a question. Thought-provoking statement, and for some of us in government, most times we're on the hot spot, But it's also good, like the president has mentioned. Unfortunately, again, is the whole agencies are not here, so it's also difficult. So what the association can do is, you know, the challenge, document them, and put all the all the agencies in place. For us as government agencies, as I speak, the Presidential Committee on Performance are in Lagos right now that we're working with. They've set up clear goals to MP and other agencies, presidential priorities, service priorities, and everything, headed by Madam Adiza, the control unit. So there are clear goals that they've set for Nigerian Port Authority, for instance, on dwell time, on turnaround time, and what it takes. One of the things, like somebody mentioned on congestion, what we noticed was we are looking at our processes all over again. We noticed that, yes, we claim that we do 24 hours operation in Lagos. Why the eastern ports? Because of security, we cannot. Even in Lagos, we have realized that if you want to make payments into our system after closing hour, it's difficult. You can make the payment from the bank, but we cannot validate it until the next day. So what are we doing? We've called our port managers, we've called our system people together to say, you know what? If we are doing 24 hours that we say we are doing, validation of any payment must be done as at when it's due. So invariably, internally, we are looking at our various processes that make up all the transactions, the one we can control. Unfortunately, like we know, my responsibility stops at where the other party starts. That's why we are saying, please, let's have all the challenges. You note them, who does what, our arts are there, and let all the agencies, including custom, NAVDAC, everybody be involved, so that we sit back and we take responsibility to deal with that issues. Because some of us feel bad when we hear such, because we're also part of the society as well, and it's not, it affects us as it affects everybody. So for us, we are looking at the processes that are involved in clearing, for instance. We are looking at the processes that are involved with export processing. We are looking at the processes, even in some of the issues that we are losing. We started Lcci ports, but we don't have a clear directive on how to do bunkering. We don't have a clear directive on other offshore activities that we are losing, captive cargoes that we are losing. So we have sat behind and said, okay, fine, we need to take it, because yes, we can do infrastructure. We have started commencing the infrastructure development of Lagos ports and some other ports. But beyond that, the processes as well that will, because some of the challenge, like somebody mentioned the rail line, having 200 cargo going from APMT. But the question is that rail line, the way it's presently designed, cannot do so much because it's not at the key points, at the key apron. And it's not at the key apron because the terminal, the key apron is not as strong. We say, okay, fine. Let's reconstruct those aprons so that, yes, the issue of, apart from the standard gauge, the issue of double charging will not be eliminated because it will not be from the apron down to wherever it's going. So these processes are being looked at. Apart from the port community system, I was asking my colleague, the global person, I said, okay, fine. In our end, we are trying to determine even the transaction, that's the number of days of dwell time. We say average of 14 days in Lagos. In Lcci, 11 days. What are the components? If we implement the single windows, how many days are we looking to reduce? Then if that be the case, is it the issue of the infrastructure that we need to add? Because we also are conversers of what happened in our sister neighbors, what they are doing. And we are looking at the fact that in some other, like Ghana, we don't have multiplicity of agencies like we have in Nigeria. However, your acts do not require, you cannot stop one agent from another. So that's where your advocacy comes in. What do we do? If you have 2-3 agencies to check a cargo that is coming in, time is also there. Can one agency check, or can we do joint checking so it applies to all? These are issues that advocacy can do. It's not taking blame. It's just to say, okay, how do we strengthen the process? So we are here today. The managing director asked us to come today, me and my colleague, so that we can listen. And when you are putting your documents together, before you even submit to the government, call the agencies together again. Does this apply to you? What are you doing? So that we have holistic documents. So that when the government is looking at and how to solve, not just sending documents across, the question is, how do we solve this? You know, because a lot of papers have been written, a lot of advocacy have been done, like she mentioned. But in fairness, some of the things we have realized, communication from our end, we don't even use email, we use papers. We track, how does it, I mean, when we are responding to our terminal operators, sometimes we use just letter. Before the letter comes from Marina to Apapa, take days. We are telling ourselves, okay, fine. We have analyzed our system. What do we do? But it's beyond one agency, other agencies. So I'm saying, Ma and Sir, and the SCL, please, it's a good form. We have some of the agency here, but it's not complete. And it's a live, it's a chain. We can't do so much. The terminal operators are not here. They would have come with a lot of issues that will put us on the spot, which is good. Because the idea behind this, we want to solve issues, and we cannot finish it all. We can measure it. What cannot be measured cannot be reformed, cannot be done with. When we have dwell time of 14 days, what are the components of these 14 days? Is it land side? Is it seaside? Is it related to clearing or physical inspection? Is it related to documentation, falsification? So these are what you can, because if it comes from a group like this, it's easier to deal. If we bring it out there, it's controversial. No, it's not it. We don't accept. Chamber Council will not accept. Like somebody said, MP increased tariff. But the question is, have we looked at what it takes MP to dredge the channel? Because that's part of our function. So those are things that SCM and other groups can put together and call the agents and let the government be there so that we can take it. And one agency that you can think of dealing with will be the control agency in Lagos that is involved in Abuja, that is involved with performance of agencies. They have presidential priorities. They have audit that has been clearly spelled out. So you can want to avail yourself with the document and see where those things have been aligned to. Then you can take it off from there. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you. We need to wind this down. Okay, if you comment. Final word, the president said.
Thank you very much. I'm not going to dwell on, we are providing solutions. That's what we should be talking about, because Nigerian challenges are so humongous that when we start, we cannot end. I think one of our solutions should be government agencies to understand that it is one government, not two governments. So even when government agencies are supposed to work together and you identify something your other sister agency is not doing right, when you try to advise, it becomes offensive. So those things should be eliminated. Let us see ourselves as one. Trade facilitation is not target giving. The amount of money you release per month or you get for the government per month. But what we should be calculating, what improvements have taken place within that time such amount was realized. So the focus is not well channeled. We live where the focus should be to where the focus should not be. When the amount is announced, everybody claps, but forgetting that the processes that we should be looking at that will even generate greater revenue are overlooked. So those are the areas of focus. I was thinking one of our regulatory agencies in the port will speak on that issue of double charges. It drew my attention because if they have approved an overseas company to conduct survey on their behalf, that charge should also be part of their charges, and they shouldn't charge overseas and come back to Nigeria and make a repeat charge, double charges. That's the way we see it as an economic regulator. If you have nominated somebody on your behalf, whatever charge should incorporate your own charges, so that it's either you pay there or when you come to Nigeria, you make that payment, so that the person is at liberty to either pay it over there in foreign currency or come and use our own currency to strengthen it and make the payment here in Nigeria. And people should be open to saying the truth. We need an industry platform where issues should be reported real time. That's how we can sculpt some of these excesses by all participating organizations. If there is a platform where the whole industry will be reporting real time what the challenges are as they are going about their businesses, and all the agencies will be alerted, and everybody will see each other at that same platform. It will improve some of the hidden activities others don't know about. But we need the support of the private sector, rather than going into always using the media to criticize and criticize, not making constructive criticisms. We should be getting solutions. How best should these issues be resolved in the industry? Then you now call out the agency, please look at this issue. They're not there, so they will not know. So when such issues come, let it be appropriately reported and expect better resolutions than just using the media. The media now is an opportunity for individuals and groups to be lambasting and saying some naughty things to agencies. I think that is not a progressive way of addressing issues. Thank you.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you. NAFDAC, I'm told NAFDAC we have the last show.
Okay, thank you very much. I think I'm supposed to answer two questions. My friend from Analka asking about NAFDAC charging for services in India for CRIA, that's Clean Report of Inspection and Analysis, and then also charging in Nigeria. Let me just throw light, let me give you a background of what happens in this scenario. By virtue of risk categorization, NAFDAC has noticed that most of the fake and substandard products that come into this country come from India and China. And so the issue of giving CRIA charges and services is actually a regulatory intervention to check that drift of substandard products. It would be amazing to hear that Nigerians travel over to India and tell them to prepare substandard products, fake drugs, and send it to Nigeria so they can sell it cheap and make money. It's not something that is not known to all of us. And so that policy of CRA only applies in India and China. If you bring your products from Europe, for instance, because they have a standard system, we do not charge you CRA charges. Even Singapore, Saudi, all these other countries that have systems that are a little bit more transparent, we do not have those charges. And so what we do as a matter of policy is to ensure that those products, some samples of it are taken in India and China, and then you are charged for it. When it comes, some other compliance samples are also taken. The charges that are given are purely for the services that are rendered, and they are different depending on the services that are being provided. And so it's not a case of charging you double. It's a service that we provide that we are charging you for. And so that's the way it is.
Thank you.
And then when you talk about the other question you were talking about, NAFDAC interested in the container of tomato, in the content, and then somebody else is interested in the tin. Some of those things are just part of what you see in a system. NAFDAC cannot be interested in probably in maybe the packaging, for instance, if it does not affect us. But if it affects somebody else, it does not stop NAFDAC from doing its work. And we just have to do our work because the law empowers us to do the work. The challenge is that we should see food and drugs as high-risk products that require extra attention. We've been very fortunate in our country that we've not really had cases where we have outbreaks that will be epidemics that will become serious matters, even in spite of all we are doing. And so we should be able to understand that nobody is just getting out of his way to charge you money and make money out of you. It is because we have an onerous responsibility to safeguard the health of the nation. And that's why we go out of our way to ensure that these things are done. And whatever comes back to the consumer comes safe, efficacious, and satisfactory. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. A lot of other people want to make comment, but I'll take the word of my president as the final. He says we should round it up now. We can engage, sir. You meet him after now. So we'd like to thank you so much. We have a little presentation, but we'll get to that after this next set of photo ops. Let's just take a step forward. I'd like the chair of the Public Affairs and Advocacy Committee to join us in this photograph, Sir Ladi Smith, FCA, and the Vice President, Adi Kimba. Please, let's join. We need to balance it. No, Mr. President, sir. It is. Once my president is in the middle, it's balanced. So move closer, sir. That's the balance. This is balance. Francis, once we are done, let me know. You are good. So you hold on. Vice President Princess Funlayo Okewo, please join us. The honorary live Vice President here present, please, ma, join us. Ms. Shade Bebenton Young, please, let's join. No, you are. Saladi Smith wants her to come. Yes, that's fine. Okay, it's balanced now. Last but not the least is some of the agencies that were here that make goodwill messages. Please, let's join them. Please, let's join. Some of them have left. Nimasa, Man, Otumba is also here, so. Please, can I have Madara to help coordinate this session of plaques? So all of us can go now, except the regulatory agencies. So just hold on. The president is going to give you a presentation. Please, I need Madara here, please. So we all can go back to our various seats while we have the plaques given by the president. Please, let me have the first. Please, can we all get back to our various seats? I'll call the names. Custom, okay. Let me bring it out. Custom is not here. Francis. Please, we need to make this presentation. Please, Mr. President, sir. Who is this? Eric. Dr. Eric Opa. Okay. For Dr. Eric, sir. Please, Dr. Eric. Sorry, ma. Sorry, ma. Yes. Please, where is the last one? The last one. Eh? Next, Captain Cello, Managing Director, Prime Nest Logistics. Is that the last one? Thank you so much, sir. Francis, are you good? You are done. Okay. Thank you, Doc. Thank you, Captain. Thank you. As we, Mr. President, thank you, sir. You're fine, sir. Yes, sir. For a closing remark at this event, I'd like to bring to upstage Dr. Sonny Michael Omezia, who is representing the Director General of the Lagos State Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Chief Dr. Chinyere Peace Almona, FCA. Let's put hands together for the Director General.
Good afternoon once again. Our time is fast spent. I want to thank you for your time spent with us today at this Stakeholders Forum, starting with our appreciation to our President of Lagos Chamber, our Vice President and Chairman of the Advocacy Committee, Saladi Smith. I want to thank all the Vice Presidents here present. And specifically want to thank our keynote speakers from Nigeria Port Authority, Mr. Lcci Yahweh, GM Corporate Strategy. I want to thank you for coming. I want to thank Mrs. Margaret Obona from Nigerian Shippers Council, representing the Executive Secretary. I want to thank our sponsor, Dr. Eric Opper, MD of Fortune Global, for sponsoring this event, and also Prime Nest Logistics. I want to thank you for coming. I want to let you know, as you have in the program, there's going to be a post-event publication, which we believe will be very useful as to capture all the perspectives of the position papers presented here today from the various trade associations. That will be circulated to us and the wider community to make sure that we are driving this advocacy to the highest level. Once again, we want to thank you. Can we rise for national anthem as we close? Can we rise for the national anthem? Thank you for staying this far.
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians old and proud to serve our sovereign motherland.
Thank you.